The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, October 13th, 2020, and it is officially Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Let's go. Woo! In about 2 hours, Aaron Rodgers will be joining us to talk about all things that happened in his bye week, the state of the NFL, and maybe some of his hobbies off the football field. Last week, he made one of the most savage comments I've ever heard a professional athlete say, strictly because it was 1,000% true, and every other athlete that has ever been in his position would say the exact same thing that he said. And the fact that he said it, I am so incredibly pumped up about. And by the way, I heard OBJ said he listened to that interview, listened to that statement. He said he absolutely loved it. It was his favorite thing ever. I wonder if LeBron James, by the way, potentially listened to that quote and has made him act a certain way on his Instagram with things that he's been saying about how there's brand new criterias that are being created to judge me against other people that have never happened before. I like what Aaron Rodgers has been saying. I obviously love what Aaron Rodgers has been doing. And Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays have been a day where I wake up and the air's a little bit fresher. Mm-hmm. You know, it just feels like the shower has a little bit more water pressure on my skin. Yeah. It feels like the green tea that I drink every single day that a lot of people ask, what is in my cup? It is not a beer, it is green tea. It feels like it has even more caffeine than it normally has. It feels like whenever I fornicate with my wife this evening on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, the climax is just a little bit better. Everything is good on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, and that's because the GOAT, the man who's going to win the MVP this season, will be joining us and talking about all things happening in the world, and we can't thank him enough for that. Also on today's show, practice squad quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in Texas, Josh McCown. A man who has been in the NFL for a long time, backup quarterback, incredibly good-looking man with great hair, and also great at basketball. His clips of him off the field playing basketball and charity games have gone viral numerous times. Just an older white man dunking and going behind the back. But aside from that, a guy who has forgotten more about football than most people have ever learned. Can't wait to chat with him. And in the first hour, in about 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes in, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. 20 minutes from now. Ryan Clark, who had a birthday yesterday, will be joining us. He's obviously from ESPN. A lot of clips have been airing about him just demolishing people over the middle of the field on the internet. Can't wait to chat with him, and can't wait to chat with you about a guy who, if you had to select a first-year or second-year quarterback to be your franchise quarterback forever, and this is actually at Viva Lazito's poll today, and if your team stinks, you actually die. It's not like you just lose your job, but you actually die. And Justin Herbert is one of those guys. Is that a guy you would take to build a franchise around? I do believe that when Ryan Clark, who will be joining us in less than 20 minutes now, said yesterday, did the people in Miami get it right with Tua? I believe that question is going to be one that's going to be asked for a long time, because it's always asked about quarterbacks in the same class until they either both get re-upped or win and then move along, and it's not really talked about anymore. But the Tua Herbert question will be one that people will ask, because Tom Telesco told us on this show that they were okay with all three quarterbacks that were selected in the top 6. Number 1, Joey Burrow. Tom Telesco, the general manager for Los Angeles Chargers, said, loved Joey Burrow. Tua, loved Tua. Oh, yeah. Justin Herbert, loved Justin Herbert. And Tom Telesco was sitting in a position where he knew at 6 in the draft that, okay, Tua and Joey Burrow, if they get taken, cool, we'll take Justin Herbert. If Joey Burrow and Justin Herbert gets taken, cool, we'll take Tua. That is literally what Tom Telesco told us was, hey, we're good with either Tua or Justin Herbert. We found them both to be incredible franchise quarterbacks. We're good either way. Miami takes Tua, which there was a lot of conversation around going into the draft about his injuries and will he be an NFL guy, and Miami's pulled the trigger on him at 5, so Los Angeles Chargers took Herbert. Now, Los Angeles Chargers had Phillip Rivers for the last 27 years or whatever. And they moved from San Diego to Los Angeles. They got a new stadium. He leaves. Tyrod Taylor's there. Justin Herbert's supposed to go to that team and back up Tyrod Taylor, who has won over the locker room and been a guy who, if you look at his career, has fallen into a litany of misfortune. He goes from the Baltimore Ravens to the Buffalo Bills, takes the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs. Sean McDermott says, you're not the guy we really want in the future, though. Get the hell out of town. Goes to Cleveland, becomes a starter in Cleveland. They take Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall pick. He gets a concussion. Baker Mayfield comes in on Thursday night, lights up the joint. Tyrod Taylor, see you later. He goes over to the Chargers. You're backing up Phillip Rivers. Okay, you're going to be the guy after Phillip Rivers leaves, unless Tom Brady can come here. Tom Brady's not coming here. This is Tyrod Taylor's team, Tyrod Taylor's team, Tyrod Taylor's team. Chargers doctor sticks a needle through his lung, punctures his lung. Justin Herbert comes in, almost beats the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. Then he has a great game against Tom Brady. And last night, what Justin Herbert is doing is awesome. 3 of his offensive linemen are down. See you later. Don't have him. Doesn't matter. The guy just isn't rattled ever. He's played against Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. These are the 3 people that he's had to battle against. Now, granted, Drew Brees was not rushing the passer last night, and Tom Brady was not playing safety or anything like that. But in these marquee games, it feels like Herbert does not even rattle one bit. He's making plays that are 60 yards down the field like it's nothing. He's rolling out of the pocket like a freak athlete at the size that he has. And it feels like he's hitting targets like we saw on Hard Knocks that are very small, and boom, would have never ever guessed that. Now, he's a small town kid out of Oregon, and people didn't know how he would handle the NFL limelight. I want to tell you, I think he's handling it just fine. He might be actually the perfect person for Los Angeles. He's super chill, seems to be relaxed, always has this poise and his confidence about him, but then when his teammates score, he celebrates like hell, which I absolutely love. They have a guy going forward, and Tyrod Taylor's unlucky streak continues here, and I think that was an incredibly difficult decision by Anthony Lynn, especially because their own doctors did it to Tyrod Taylor, and Tyrod Taylor does not deserve any of the things that have happened. I would like that to be known. We're on team Tyrod Taylor's team here, but when you see how Justin Herbert is playing, you can't help but think, did Miami get it right down there with Tua? Because Herbert, although he is not won, which a lot of people are saying, like, oh, he's completely defeated or whatever. It's like last night, could have, should have, probably would have won the game if a lot of different situations happened. Now, Drew Brees marched down there at the end, and Taysom Hill ran one in, and they go to overtime, and Will Lutz just absolutely strokes one, and then a guy gets tackled a half a yard short by Marshawn Lattimore with an incredible tackle. But when you see Justin Herbert play, you immediately think to yourself, for the next 10 years, the Los Angeles Chargers have got a guy, maybe more than 10 years. And he's not just getting killed like Joey Burrow is. And we've seen him play, unlike what we've seen out of Tua, who's just been a Fitzmagical year. I'm not saying Tua isn't going to be great. I'm just saying right now you have to think that the Los Angeles Chargers, who just sat back and watched everybody else do the draft picking and the options and the choosing, they got a chance to get a guy that I think a lot of people doubted. And all he has done is fucking dominate. The guy is really, really good. I love that he's in there. There's rumors that a lot of coaches really loved him and were thinking about trading up to go get him, but weren't able to make a trade. I mean, there's a lot of conversation revolving around Justin Herbert, and I don't think he knows about any of it. It feels like Justin Herbert has no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. He's just playing the football. Keenan Allen, obviously, a stud. Hunter Henry's a stud. That team potentially built for the future, but they're in a very difficult division, so who knows how that's going to play out. I loved watching Herbert last night, and good news for football fans, it's not just that it's Tuesday Night Football, and I know Mac can, carry some weight on Tuesday nights. You can gamble on the Mac and everything like that. We got NFL football tonight. Let's go. We got NFL football tonight that we'll talk about. Last night was a great game. Tonight, the Buffalo Bills traveled to the Tennessee Titans, who haven't played in a little bit because of a COVID outbreak in their facility, in front of 9,000 fans, by the way. 9,000 people in Nashville go from the pedal bars right into the stadium to watch the Buffalo Bills and MVP candidate Josh Allen play against Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and the boys who haven't had a game in a couple weeks and maybe be a bit rested. Or has there been so much drama out of that building that they're completely fucked against the Buffalo Bills? That'll be the conversation we figure out today. All the boys are here at Tone Diggs. Tone Diggs, is there any way you're leaning tonight in the gambling world for this Buffalo Bills-Tennessee Titans game? And did last night go anywhere near how you thought it would go last night? Well,
yeah, I mean, you, I, Gumpy. Well, I mean, we were all in the Chargers. We knew where it was going. And he's the best because, in a young quarterback, he's not afraid to make a play. He's not afraid of the bright lights. His arm and accuracy are incredible. I mean, Herbert going forward, very, very, very bright. Yeah. As far as tonight, I think that number's going to go from 3.5 to 3. And as soon as it does, I am going to jump on the Bills just because I think they are the better football team.
And they're minus 3.5 right now on the road against the Tennessee Titans. And the Buffalo Bills, we forget here because they haven't played. Hey, that's a really good football team.
Good football team.
That's a really good football team.
That's a good football team.
Josh Allen, a quarterback, MVP candidate, people are saying.
Seriously?
Now, it seems to be a one-horse race there at the top of the MVP thing, but in the conversation, Josh Allen here, in just his third year or fourth year, he's only getting better. Third year. He's only getting better. First year, second year got better. Second year this year he got better. Had his first 300-yard game. Had a few of them, a slew of them. I mean, he is playing great football. Let's not talk about the Buffalo Bills defense playing good ball. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are a very good team. But the Tennessee Titans, having being off a week and not allowed in their building, will that affect them? Or are they such a basic offense where it's run, play, action, that it really won't affect them that much? And their defense seems to be one that is mentally tough, especially with Vrabel and the boys running it down there. Will the off and not being allowed to be in their facility affect them? We will find out tonight on Tuesday Night NFL Football.
I think something that makes a difference too is like the Bills have beaten the Rams, the Bills have beaten the Raiders, who seem to be decent teams. The Titans have beaten the Broncos, the Jaguars, and Vikings. I mean, it's not. I mean, you play who's on the schedule, but not as hard as what the Bills' schedule has been, and they're also the undefeated.
And they haven't been able to practice, which I think is a rather large part because you get better at practice. I think unless practice is just a big joke, I do believe practice matters, and they haven't been able to practice. The Buffalo Bills have been able to. That seems to be problematic, even though there'll be 9,000 Tennessee Titan fans spitting COVID and obscenities all over each other in the stands tonight. I like the Buffalo Bills here early. I could come off of that as the show goes on, but I like the Bills at minus 3.5. Fuck it, I'll take it. At Boston Connor, how you feeling, bub?
I feel fantastic. I actually like the Titans tonight because I saw Dick Maziano on ESPN went ahead and took the Bills. So I like the freshest Derrick Henry that we've seen. Maybe even throw a little him to score 3 touchdowns tonight.
It wasn't just Richard Maziano, too. It was the entire crew on Get Up this morning. And by the way, we're all leaning towards the Buffalo Bills. We're all leaning towards the Buffalo Bills this morning. And then we watch Get Up every morning because I'm a big fan of Greeny. I love the research that they do over there. I think you can learn a lot from that show. If you have to host a daily show, that show is very good at finding information and doing things like that. I enjoy Get Up. We watch it literally every single morning. And at the end of the show, they did like a game day countdown pick'em segment, as if like Sunday NFL Countdown where they have it all, or game day where they have it all. And right across the bottom of the screen there, all you saw was just one Buffalo after another. And it was like, wait a minute, this feels like if all these sons of bitches are thinking it and we're thinking it, that means a lot of people are probably thinking it.
Yeah.
And those chandeliers and those casinos don't come from everybody thinking one thing and winning on a regular basis. So that is strictly why you're going for the Titans. There's no other logical reason other than the fact that Maziano and the boys at Get Up just said the Buffalo Bills are going to win in a unanimous decision.
Well, and Vrabel hasn't been on a football field for, 2 weeks? I mean, we see this guy doing push-ups on the sideline just week after week. If he hasn't been, on the field for 2 weeks, he might bring a full plate out there and just start benching doing the whole damn thing.
Oh, you're saying eat? I thought you were going to say he was going to start eating out there.
Well, he might as well
but
do that.
But you meant weight as in
weight
plate.
training out there. Yeah, bring some plates, maybe even a bar. He'd do some squats. I don't know, whatever Vrabel's feeling.
As long as he has boxing gloves and a mask on, I think all anybody cares about coming out of that Tennessee Titans organization. I do believe Tennessee Titans have the least amount of national respect from fans across the league, because I do believe a lot of diehard NFL fans turned on the Tennessee Titans whenever they almost took down the entire season.
Without question.
And people started hating them very quickly. But it's going to happen to another team, and the Titans just kind of have to, wear that burden for a while until it happens somewhere else. But Tennessee Titans are no longer a team that people are cheering for. Not that I'm saying they ever were, but I think there's a lot of people hoping that the team from Buffalo rumbles, stumbles, and beats the hell out of them for their punishment for breaking the COVID protocols that we don't even know if they did yet or not.
Hey, and I like that. Titans versus the world, baby. Here we go. Let's just give the ball to Derrick Henry and let's see what he can do. And
that guy, by the way, maybe a couple-week break, he's back better than ever and ready to just run over everybody. Everybody? At Ty Schmidt, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, got to feel pretty damn good.
It does. I'm excited to see how his body's feeling after the bye week, what he thinks about Tampa moving forward. And like you said, I just want to know what he's doing on the bye week.
What did he do? He's not allowed to leave. He has to get tested at the facility every single day, so he can't leave town. There's a lot of restrictions on the bye week that don't really make it a bye week. Now we're going to talk to a guy who knew it was a bye week, got to spend it as a bye week. What did he do? What did he watch? What did he learn? What film? Maybe he went back and watched 2010.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe watch the playoff film from that year or something. I don't know. If I know Raj, I think he probably was watching film like 18, 19 hours of the day.
Is that right?
Probably.
18, 19 hours. The Aaron Rodgers that comes on our show? I would assume so, actually.
I think so.
I think that's all he did. Maybe snuck in a little room for a documentary, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe a series, a funny series, a comedic series. Probably this show every day.
Probably.
Yeah,
If
this
I had
show
to get-
every day
Makes
for
sense.
sure.
So that's 3 hours, 18, 19. He's got about 2 hours left there. Maybe watch a doc or something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe like sneak in, a quick meal or something like that.
Yeah, because he has been looking in incredible shape.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is.
Excited
Yes.
to talk to him. At Viva Lazito, I mentioned your poll earlier about
Yes, the massive
year
one.
one or year two quarterback. If you had to build a franchise around, and it's not just like you lose your job at the team stinks.
You die.
You actually lose your life.
Yeah.
And what is the poll saying on the internet?
Right now, Danny Dimes 1.1%. Justin Herbert 37.9. Joey Burrow 37.3. Kyler Murray 23.7.
So this is an interesting result. We're at about 4,000 votes already into this thing. So if you want to go at Viva Lazito to figure out or make your voice be heard.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is a little bit lower than it would have been if this was 2 weeks ago, but also it feels like he came back against the Jets, but everybody's like, well, it's just the Jets, who cares? So I think the jury is still very much out on Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray's upside, by the way, is potentially higher than, I don't know, because Herbert can move too. So I actually, but Kyler Murray, what he was doing to professional athletes was something that not a lot of humans have done. Herbert, playing the quarterback position, potentially has the highest upside. And Joey Burrow, if he doesn't, lose his head over there in Cincinnati from just getting killed every single day. I think this is a very good, this is a good poll by you, Evie.
Thank you, yeah.
And I see you're wearing a shirt there. Are you part of that college game day?
This is a college game day Home Depot shirt. No big deal.
How'd you get that?
It's because I sometimes set up the cameras for them, and they felt like giving back to me.
Nice.
So you work for college game day?
Basically, but they haven't given me a Traeger grill yet, though, so I'm waiting for that.
Jeez. By the way, Traeger, I don't know if you listen. This whole office is begging for a
Begging.
but we're way past the free product stage of life, so that is just going to be kind of problematic.
What are you going to do?
Maybe work a deal.
Hey, got a free shirt? I mean,
Did get a free shirt, but it wasn't from Traeger. It was from Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Maybe a Home Depot gift card. If
That'd
we're
be-
taking free stuff.
By the way, are there Traegers at Home Depot?
I think so.
Oh,
See?
that's a combo deal.
Look at you, Zito. Zito, I think you should put on your resume college game day producer.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. EP.
I think every Saturday when I come in here, except for this past one because it was your birthday and all that
Yeah.
shit.
Happy birthday, Zeke.
Happy birthday, Zito.
Thank you, Game Day, for giving me a day off.
Yeah. Zito comes in like 7:30, 8:30 in the morning, has to set up all the cameras, sit here, and just make sure the connection's there. And Nick had to fill in for him this past week. Nick did a great job. He did not get a shirt, though.
Oh, that's
Oh,
tough.
wow.
Sorry,
Nick
Nick.
did not get a
sorry,
shirt.
Larry.
Nick Maraldo got no shirt there.
What else is new?
20 minutes into the hour, got to get to a break. Ryan Clark joins us on the other side. Can't wait to chat with him. Tweet hashtag Pat McAfee Show live if you have any questions. Zito will be going through those. He's our eyes on the internet. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6 for your phone calls. We'll get to those after our conversation with Ryan Clark, whose birthday was yesterday. So let's please tell him happy birthday whenever he gets here. Can't wait to chat with him about his thoughts on Justin Herbert, Tua, football, and maybe a bubble that's being talked about, I guess, for the playoffs because the NFL has the same mindset as the MLB. Let's get to the playoffs, and once we get there, that's all of our money. Let's bubble everybody up. I'm not 100% sure you're going to be able to get players to do such a thing. Really not 100% sure at all. I'm not sure that is a copyright-free song that we just played right there. That's going to be a conversation piece that'll be very interesting, but now would be the time they would have to start preparing for that, by the way.
Yeah.
To secure fields and buildings and everything you would need for an NFL operation. That is going to be a lot. Now would have to be the time they would start planning. So if there's a little bit of smoke coming out of the NFL about a potential bubble in the playoffs, let's assume that there is some planning for a bubble for the NFL playoffs. Excited to hear some players' thoughts on that. What's up, V?
Shout out from Portugal. Very excited for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
Is it at Portugal?
No, it's a guy from Portugal just sent it in right now. He's in all in Portuguese.
Fuck yeah.
Obrigado, Portugal. Appreciate you. That's Portuguese, by the way.
Is it?
I don't know. Man, sorry, just came in my ears. I could have just said him.
Portugal's having a rough day today.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Cristiano.
He got the COVID.
Oh, yeah.
There's a picture of him and the entire Portugal team having dinner last night, just having a great time.
Oh, no.
He was on that island.
If I know anything about Portugal, though, they all have abs. They're probably in great shape.
They'll be okay.
I think I'll be all right.
I think from what the stats now,
Yeah.
not getting into it. Tuesday, October 13th. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Ryan Clark joins us on the other side. This is Channel 82, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, the home, or one of the homes of JT the Brick. See you on the other side. I like the Chargers tonight, +7 and the over. Let's go with 2 bets. That's what I do. I'm in the lead. Got to take your shots for a reason. That's what I'm going with. Final answer.
Chargers 9-3-2 against the spread. Their last 14 as a dog.
Okay, good. I didn't know if there was more coming there.
Oh, I could go all night.
Let's hear it. What do you got? Anything else for the Chargers? Because the way these Italians laid out the case against the Chargers was a bit problematic.
Chargers 3-0-1 against the spread. Their last 4 road games. 3-1-1 against the spread. Their last 5. 33-15-4 against the spread. Their last 52 as a road dog.
Bombs over Lombardi's house. I don't know if you heard him over there, Paisan.
What's the Diggs man got?
Michael, while I agree with you 1,000% that I also sometimes will contradict myself on what my research says just because the money's one certain way, and that's the case tonight. Like, I like the Saints on paper, but I'm going with the Chargers in the money.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers +7 tonight.
Let's go. Hey, by the way, can you show those records again?
Tony's hot.
Me and Diggs, top of the mountain.
This is also.
We're on the same side. This is a lock, Diggs. Me and you, this is a mortal lock, basically, this thing. This is a guarantee.
You know, I sometimes laugh when people talk about, down years for me, because a lot of times down years for me are career years for most quarterbacks.
That was awesome.
Hey, it's just the facts, bro.
You and me, I think, are the only people that can do it, dude.
That's old hat, Pat. I've been doing that for years. I've learned that in high school.
Hey, can you explain when you actually say the words hard count in your hard count and it works?
Yeah, was that trolling? That was definitely trolling.
I saw that. No, why would I say hard count? That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I did not say hard count.
I want to know what's this bye week like for you, man?
So COVID test every day, and at some point you got to let adults be adults and make decisions, understand the consequences. We can't hold everybody by the hand.
Yeah, a bubble would be awesome, Aaron. Put you guys all in one big hotel, huh?
Yeah, I won't be a big fan of that. All
I guess not.
The fucking media does is write stories to get clicks. So it doesn't matter. Like, I can give a long answer about something, and they can take a blip of it and write a story about it that has nothing to do with what I was saying.
So how do you know what to believe then, A-Rod?
I think you just have to be skeptical in general. I think that's having an open mind, is being skeptical and not just believing everything at face value, and do your own research and not just listen to something because somebody told you, some blue check mark on Twitter told you to believe something. You should have an open mind and feel into what you think is the truth.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, you were preaching right there, sir. You were preaching right there.
McAfee Show.
Tony.
10.
Oh,
Tony.
no.
Tony poops.
Tony missed the break. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Diggsy dumps.
Tummy ache tone.
When you have been eating like shit for so long and then you start a diet, things just go right.
It does.
For you.
It does turn around, by the way. And we're all trying to get healthy over here. This is our, I don't know, I don't want to say biannual because it happens more than twice a year where we say we're going to get in shape and we're going to get healthy.
Yep.
Our office feels to be in the scene where we're trying to all get in shape. Zito had to lose his diet because one of his favorite U-ball players of all time disrespected the game. So he's currently on a bender right now, a binging bender.
I made 2 burritos this morning.
Yeah, all because Evan Fox ruined the game of The Office. But that is
Thanks,
not for a
Fox.
conversation right now. Evan Fox is a scumbag. We never would have guessed it, but we found that out just yesterday in our office game of choice, which is U-Ball. He's been cheating the entire time. And then he called me Hitler.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
We don't have time. We got to talk. Okay. We got to talk to a guy who is not Hitler, by the way, and would not cheat in our office game of U-Ball, which is just a camaraderie building game of a little bit of competitive juices to keep the motion and emotion happening in our office, which is a big deal. A man who would play that game with the utmost integrity because that's how he played the football. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champ Ryan Clark.
Hey, man, I just want to say this. You guys have my favorite Aaron Rodgers.
The one that shows up on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday? Me too, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Go
ahead.
The still surly but playing really well so he could be as arrogant as he wants. Aaron Rodgers is my favorite Aaron Rodgers.
Hey,
that's the one I signed up for.
Let's not say arrogant, okay? Confidence, all right? He's very confident. He's very, very confident.
No, see, you might can't say that because that's your friend. He ain't my friend. so I can say it, right? Like, he come on your show every Tuesday because he likes you. If I had a show, Aaron Rodgers probably wouldn't come on, so I can be truthful. Bruh, like, that's my favorite Aaron Rodgers. And I am probably like one of those media people he talks about. Right?
Yeah.
So
probably.
My favorite quarterback of all time in the sense of who I think is the best I've ever seen is Aaron Rodgers. He's the best I ever played. Not even it's not even close, right? And people think I hate him because I make this joke all the time on TV about this actual occurrence in the Super Bowl. And I'm always like, oh, I hate him. But really, I love him. Like, I wish he was my quarterback. Like, there have been times people had to save my job for me probably trying to fist fight him at practice. But other than that, like, we would have been great together.
Can you tell the Super Bowl story real quick, though, for those who might not have heard it?
Yeah, so Pat, bro, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You know the Super Bowl, you get 2 weeks. So I planned this interception. Every time Greg Jennings is at number 3, and 2 safety defenses, they ran a seam.
Hey, hold on. Slow down. Number 3, please, for the people listening that don't know what that means.
Right. So if you count from outside to in, the first wide receiver would be number 1, the guy close to the sideline. Usually the slot guy is number 2, and the next receiver over is number 3. This is normally where you would see tight ends, at least especially back in the days that I played. It's where your guest yesterday, Chase Poole, I think y'all had Chase Claypool, I think you had him on yesterday, was lined up for his last touchdown, that exact spot.
Got it.
And so every time they did this, they threw the ball to Greg Jennings, bro. They threw a seam. So I had told my kids we was going to Disney World because I was going to pick this ball off and I was going to score a touchdown.
MVP.
Right? I was going to be the MVP. They never wanted to give it to Ben anyway. So I was going to be the MVP. You feel me?
Yep.
Right? Ben never got it. So I was like, okay, I see the play. So backside, Ike's covering Jermichael Finley. I'm supposed to be in the half. So I lock Ike, and I know Aaron's never going to look at me, bro. I know it. I was like, it's it. This is it. So boom, play starts, dog. I take off, Pat. And I'm looking at it. I was like, he going to throw this Mickey Ficky. It's a wrap.
Yep.
So he throws it, bro. And I know he didn't see me. He throws it this far over my finger, bro.
Oh.
Right in front of Troy. Right? I dive for it, miss it right in front of Troy. Touchdown. So all is well. All is good. You know, because I'm like, it's Aaron Rodgers. I ain't really tripping. Like, we were literally cheering for Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears 2 weeks before this because we didn't want to play him anyway.
Yeah.
This is before our game. So we weren't tripping.
Yeah.
So, man, next series, we doing kind of well. Somebody, they call a timeout. Bro looks at me and goes, hey, 2-5. First off, you've been studying for this game for 2 weeks. Okay. And I've been in the league at this point for 10 years. You know my freaking name. You ain't got to call me by my number. Right? So then he goes, bro. So then he goes, 2-5. And I was so mad. Because now I got to work for ESPN to get free tickets to Disney World when I was going to have my own freaking parade, bro.
True.
On top of the thing with the kids waving.
Oh, hey,
Mickey Mouse, this is cool. Hey,
we love Ryan.
Hey, I don't have to wait in line at the Avatar. Hey. Yeah.
And so like that's my favorite Aaron Rodgers. And so like last year, when and listen, what he had 24 touchdowns, like 2 picks. He played well, but it still wasn't Aaron Rodgers-esque. And I think what he has to understand is, like, we're not comparing a Aaron Rodgers down year to the normal statistical numerical numbers of regular humans.
Yeah.
We comparing it to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And he's right. His down year, like if Joe Burrow would have started this year and had 24 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, we'd have put him in the Hall of Fame already, like this year.
But Ryan,
Like
you have to know. But Ryan, you also have to know that whenever he's playing good, not really talked about much. Not a like his ups aren't talked about. The only time he's ever talked about is down. So whenever the people that talk about him whenever he's down are like, well, yeah, of course he's better than everybody else. It's like, well, you don't say that whenever he's playing better than everybody else. You just only talk about him. It seems like whenever he has his down year. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Surly
people.
Pat, surly people only listen when you say negative things.
Oh, a little psychology right there, Ryan. Little psychology right there. But negativity hogs publicity, though. We all know that.
Huh? What'd you say?
Negativity hogs publicity. That's why it's only talked about. Only negative things are talked about.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Already, Marcus Spears this year has said that Aaron Rodgers would be his MVP over Russell Wilson.
Smart, and he's right.
Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, right. But he said that. Aaron Rodgers clearly didn't hear that. I also said that he's playing the best ball that I've seen him play in years. Dan Orlovsky says the same thing, but of course, Aaron doesn't hear that. And people like Aaron need some of that stuff because it's like LeBron, right? Like LeBron goes, and I want my dang respect. Hey, bro, who don't respect you? Like, we all respect you. The only thing is you come up in the conversation with someone, some people respects more. That's just it.
Ryan, it feels like you're speaking for all of the media right now, and I don't want you to do it because I don't think you're anything like all the media. I feel like you're an anomaly. You are incredibly entertaining and engaging, and I think and with an incredible resume too, which, by the way, you have to be able to speak the way you do because the way you played football was incredible, and your high success and respected by your teammates. No problem. But you can't be speaking for these stooges. Like you're speaking for stooges right now, and I don't like you doing that. I don't like not Marcus Spears, not Orlovsky. I'm not talking about these. I'm talking about the rest of them. There's a lot of stooges in the media world, and you know that. You know that.
But Pat, do you think people don't think Aaron Rodgers is amazing?
I do believe there are some. I do believe there are some people that allow any TMZ story to potentially creep into their mind to make them kind of have a negative thought about him, and it's hard for them to even see what's put right in front of their eyes that he is. I do believe there are some people like that. Yeah,
I can see that. No, I do know that there are people who get probably some information about things that aren't football and combine those when trying to come to a conclusion about who Aaron Rodgers. To me, bro, as far as it, like he's 1A and 1B with Patrick Mahomes from just like the best pure players of the position. Obviously, you can't exclude what Tom did from greatness, right? Like that resume is something we can't. But just throwing that thing, bro, Aaron's stupid, dog.
Mm-hmm. It just came out that Patrick Mahomes said he could throw the ball 83 yards or something like that.
Yep.
That's outrageous. That is absolutely outlandish. I don't know how he would have enough time to maybe crow hop into that. 83 yards, he said he could throw.
83 yards, bro?
Yeah, that'd be tough for a secondary, by the way. Don't let Tyreek Hill get over the top.
I tell you what, dog, he threw the first touchdown that got called back this weekend against the Raiders. He threw it 67, and I'm sure he could have thrown it farther from a standstill, and it hit Tyreek Hill right on top of the zero. It was freaking phenomenal. Like those two dudes, and especially Pat now because of the people he plays with, he makes some throws, bro, that he just shouldn't even try.
Okay, let's talk about that because I think who's around you, your supporting cast, is a massive deal in the NFL, and it doesn't get talked about ever. Everybody's like, this person, but maybe this person was stuck in a situation where they had no chance of succeeding. For instance, Joey Burrow might die before the end of his rookie year.
It's scary.
It is very, very scary, but I think everybody has come out and said, Joe Burrow's a dude. Like, hey, this guy is a dude. He's going to be a good guy, good quarterback. Happy for him. He might die, but he's a good quarterback. Tua, the jury's out, right? We haven't seen anything from Tua. We have no idea. And your tweet last night was like, hey, did Miami make the right decision? And I think that is a question that will be asked. And I actually talked about it in my open. It's like Herbert has proven now it sucks what happened to Tyrod Taylor. It sucks what's happened to Tyrod Taylor. And this has happened to Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo, Cleveland, and now in the Chargers. He falls into a situation that is not his fault, and he kind of gets moved along. But Herbert put them in a bad position because of how good he's been playing. He is unbelievable, but that team is very injured, and they always seem to be injured. Will they ever be able to figure it out for him? And do you believe that Tua will be able to keep up with what Herbert's doing? Because that's going to be the expectation at this point.
Yeah, I think obviously Justin Herbert wouldn't be playing right now if Tyrod Taylor didn't have just an unfortunate mishap and injury. But from the time he played, that was week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs, the dude has looked the part to me. He's looked like he belonged. And so now think about it. They're saying, we feel like, even though Joe Burrow may not make it to see his 25th birthday, we do feel like for the year and a half the Cincinnati Bengals allow him to stay alive, he's going to be a good football player. And then you look at Justin Herbert, bro, and he's gone. This is what's more impressive to me. It's not the fact that he hasn't won a game, but he's had Patrick Mahomes, bro. He's had Tom Brady, and he's had Drew Brees. And you could say on those 3 days, he was at least as good as those 3 dudes are. And I think that one says a lot about who he is physically, but also mentally. This is a kid who had questions about his mentality, questions about his leadership, questions about his personality coming into the draft. And all of those things have been answered. And I think the most dramatic part to me, and this is very non-football, that has been just so it's jumped off the screen to me, is that in playing the 2 oldest quarterbacks in the league, dude still has like acne. You know what I mean? Like still like dude.
This is what stuck out the most to me. Not that he made incredible plays, incredible throws. You're just thinking he's so young still at this point is what you're referring to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's a baby, and he's out there. Like last night, his red zone efficiency was amazing. Think about the first play to Keenan Allen, bro. It's a 0 blitz. He knows it can't be blocked, but he also knows he has field to the right. So he escapes to the right, allows Keenan Allen to run into the dead space, hits him perfectly. You go to the second touchdown, or maybe the third touchdown to Hunter Henry. He understands that they're playing a double robber situation, so there's no middle of the field safety. There's also no help outside. He realizes Hunter Henry is on the outside of Demario Davis. He throws it to the pylon. The Mike Williams touchdown, he also knows that guy is going to be able to run away from outside man coverage with no help. Like his understanding and execution of situational football they've been excellent. And nobody's going to be perfect. But also think about the throw to Mike Williams on Marshawn Lattimore. It's a clear one-on-one situation, single high safety. He gave his best player an opportunity to make a play. All of those things at a very young age are amazing. And then you add that. I walked past this dude, and here's another reason I was down on him, Pat. My son plays corner for Arizona State. He's a redshirt freshman there. He got hurt kind of middle of the year, came back. So when you walk into the stadium at Arizona State, the opposing team's locker is in a place to where the team has to walk past you. Okay, so when they're going to the field, the opposing team will walk past you as you're walking into the game. Okay. Where the parents walk in. Justin Herbert walked by me, bro, and I'm going to say this, and people are going to be like, you're full of crap. I've only felt like that or close to that, or this is the feeling closest to what I felt like the first time Cam Newton walked by me in a preseason game.
Because he was so big and athletic?
Yes.
Me and Vinatieri, whenever we played against Carolina Panthers, I think it was Cam's rookie year, we saw him in warmups, and we were just like, if that defensive end can figure out NFL defenses, that is going to be problematic. He was just so just incredibly large. I mean, like they talk about it, and then you see him in person, you're like, that guy is a mountain right there, and he's a quarterback. Yeah. He's faster than you. He can throw better than you. He can jump higher than, and he's bigger and stronger than you. It is like if he can figure out NFL defenses, he's going to be a problem. He did, by the way, and I assume Herbert's going to be able to do the same thing.
Pat, that's when I started interning at ESPN, bro. I knew that was the beginning of the end. I said, if these dudes gonna start playing quarterback and like running the ball and throwing it, this ain't for me no more. Like my time is past. It's time to learn something different. And so Justin Herbert, from a physicality standpoint, has that, bro. But it's been the poise and the understanding with the team that's incredibly injured. Lost a lot of key players. No Keenan Allen last night. Austin Eckler is gone, and he was toe-to-toe with one of the greatest to ever do it, man. So
and they covered. Which is good news for everybody. Saints -7 was trending, and that did not hit. No. Chargers +7.
But think about this, bro.
Did hit.
Tua, even if he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, and And Ryan Fitzpatrick played extremely well against San Francisco. Even if he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick and they're just being cautious and they're just, or if he's not healthy enough to where they're comfortable putting him out there, you have to look at what Justin Herbert is doing, what Joe Burrow is doing, and saying, dang, man, we're at least a step behind with developing him than where they are with those two guys.
Yeah, Joe Burrow might not make it to next year, though, and I think that's what they're thinking about for Tua. Anton Diggs, what do you got?
Ryan, I'm a Steelers fan, and I watch from the safety of my couch. You were a Steelers Super Bowl winning safety on the field. It seems
very clever.
I like that. That was good.
It seems like this year that the Steelers secondary may not be playing as well. Is that just because the bar was set so high last year, or is there actually something to worry about there?
I don't think there's anything to worry about from where I sat. I mean, last year we have to remember that T.J. Watt was playing like he was. I don't even know the words to describe it. It was like you mixed James Harrison with Ryan Shazier, and it turned into a white boy. That was like what it was. You know what I mean?
You see what had happened was somehow a Caucasian man showed up when these two came together, and he kicks really hard when he celebrates. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Right. And so, you think about that, Bud Dupree, I just think they were playing at a high level up front. And I was on the record as saying that I wasn't for the Mika trade. I didn't think it was a good trade. I also didn't think they'd go 8-8, and I thought they'd get a higher pick, and I didn't know about Ben. And I had to reluctantly say later on in the season I was wrong. Here's why I had to say it was reluctant. Because when I watched the film, here's what I saw of Minkah Fitzpatrick. He really affected the game in the pass game and nowhere else, which is fine. Ed Reed later on his career became that guy, but early on he was everywhere. But I was like, so that's good. But if you're going to be Minkah Fitzpatrick and play that way and not really be a physical presence in the run, not necessarily be a blitzer, not be a huge hitter, you got to get those 6 to 8 turnovers a year for trading a first rounder away for you to matter. When you look at the other guys, Steven Nelson, Joe Hayden, I feel like is playing really well. And Edmonds kind of is what he is. But when you think about Minkah Fitzpatrick, I want you to go through the interceptions. There were 3 tip balls, right? 3 tip balls. Not saying that everybody could catch tips, because you know who never caught tips?
Yeah.
Ryan Clark.
Yeah. I knew that was coming because you wanted to kill people. You weren't looking for the ball.
It wasn't no waiting behind nobody. It wasn't that. Yeah. Okay, and so then he had an overthrow by Ryan Fitzpatrick on a primetime game. I think it was a cover 2. Bad overthrow. He caught it like a punt. And then you go to I think it was the Jacoby Brissett interception against the Indianapolis Colts in the red zone. And then there was one against Cincinnati. Now, it don't matter how you get them. When you look at the stat sheet, they all count. But when I saw it, it said, okay, if these guys aren't making glaring mistakes, is Minkah Fitzpatrick making plays? Is he diagnosing, understanding, and making plays that could be something we see year in and year out? And we aren't seeing that yet. It's not to say that it can't come. But I think people got in their head that this would happen all the time because he was truly the turnover maker there. And I don't think Steven Nelson's playing bad. I don't think Joe Hayden's playing bad. I think Terrell Edmonds still is who he is. The difference is Minkah's not getting those turnovers that we saw last year, but you really have to evaluate how those came.
Hey, you're not scared, huh? You will just hey, this guy stinks. This guy stinks. You will. No, you are not scared.
I don't feel like I said anybody stinks.
No. I agree. You didn't say anybody stinks, but you're one of which, by the way, I wish I kind of had that in me. I'd rather just not. You are a guy that's like, hey, this is the facts. This is the way it is. This is how it goes. I hate to be the guy that's breaking news to you, but this is just how it goes.
Well, I think the one thing, Pat, this is something, just to get off the football subject for a second. When I got into this job, the one thing I said I'd never do is question a man's character. So you'll never hear me say a man turned it down. He didn't want it. He was soft, any of those things. Because I can't tell the intent of a man. But what I can do is And something I haven't studied since last year, I can tell you that a guy got 3 tip picks. I can tell you.
Hey, you know what's interesting? Hey, you know what's interesting about that? We had a guy who got like 5 sacks one year, and I could have got the sacks though. Like watching him live, it was just completely just come off the edge. Nobody blocked him, tackled a quarterback, blindside, 5 sacks. Going into the next year, it was like, hey, this is our guy. Like this is our guy that's going to create sacks. And I'm like, is he though? Me and Vinatieri could have got those same sacks last year. Is this guy really the guy? Turned out he was good, but it wasn't like a game changer. So those stats can be a bit misleading whenever you diagnose a team.
Yeah, and I want people to understand, I'm not saying I don't think Minkah Fitzpatrick is a good football player. I've loved Minkah Fitzpatrick's game since Alabama when he was the star and an outside corner there to start, number 1 corner in the country. Coming out of high school in New Jersey. Then he moved to safety. He had 6 picks his sophomore year. So I'm a huge Minkah Fitzpatrick fan. But what happens is like, see, that was never my game. Like I didn't have to be the ball guy. I was the crush people. Hey. And when Troy does something stupid that doesn't work, fix it. Like that was my job.
Hey, there's a guy I hate, like you hate Aaron Rodgers, by the way. Troy Paul Mall.
Oh, I know. I love when you talk about
He's
it.
a bad guy. He's a bad guy. Nobody talks about that. Bad guy. Everybody says how good of a football player he is, how he's a nice guy. Everybody says he's a nice guy. Kills dreams, too.
Bad person.
Bad person. Yeah. Bad guy. I mean, I can't question his intent. Obviously, I don't know that well, but I do know that he stole my dreams. Ryan, will you talk about DB precision a little bit? I've seen it pop up on my timeline. I'm a big fan of what you got cooking down there.
Yeah, that's so when I retired, man, I always wanted to be a coach my entire life. That's what I wanted to do. When the Redskins cut me in year 2, bro, I was working at LSU. Not Redskins. I'm sorry, football team at the time. It was them at the time. The Giants cut me though, and I was working at LSU, man. I was a Tiger Athletic Foundation fundraiser. I had gone up to Will Muschamp to be a grad assistant. I've always wanted to be a coach. Obviously, I was blessed to play a long time, but I wanted to pass on the knowledge. I wanted to coach guys and train guys, but I knew I couldn't spend 24 hours in a building doing so. And I also knew I didn't want to listen to dudes who didn't play football tell me how to tell dudes who do play football how to play football.
Yeah.
So
smart.
I started training people, man. I became a partner in this facility called Traction Sports Performance in Louisiana, but I knew I couldn't train a kicker. I can't train Pat McAfee. I can make sure you're conditioned, but I can't do those things.
It's going to be tough,
DBs,
by the way.
Man, I can. For DBs, I can watch their film. I can, take them through the technique, through the footwork. I can push them in the weight room. I can put them in positions in training that I understand you have to be able to deal with, and you have to be able to finish through because I did it. And so, when you have Tre'Davious White and Landon Collins and Dante Jackson, Justin Reed, and when DeShazer Everett, and when these dudes look at you and they feel like, nah, RC, I can't do it. You just tell them, oh, I can. Or there's times, Pat, where they think there are things they can't do, and I just go do them, because I've done it before. And so what we have, man, is a training. I just call it a family that we all just start grinding, man. As soon as the off seasons are over, we share information about film and teams that we're playing through group chats, through group FaceTimes. And so what I try to do now during this time is educate people on defensive back play. And, whether it's a good play, like Marlon Humphreys made some good plays searching the ball. We've seen different things throughout this year that I like to highlight. So I highlighted through DB precision because I want people to understand this is a place that you can go and be focused purely on the position. And then in the off seasons, if you want to be trained in that way to understand and learn these things, you can do that as well.
Well, maybe you can help out Phil Rivers so he stops throwing picks to defensive backs. I'd appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, from ESPN Super Bowl champion and a man who was featured in Batman. Congratulations on your...
Pat, I didn't make it, bro.
Never mind then. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm on the cutting room. Bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know that. It's on the thing.
That's on me.
Zito put it on there.
No, Zito's right. I woke up at 5 a.m. on an off day in training camp to go film it, bro.
We're just trying to give him recognition.
Bro, they put me in the credits 4 hours, bro. And I stood next to Troy, too, because I was like, if they going to put anybody in the movie, they going to put Troy in the movie. But clearly, dude who made the movie don't watch no dang football. He put our contract guy in the movie. He made the freaking movie.
Well, or maybe the guy that made the movie had a nephew or a son that had their heart broken by Troy Polamalu. That could have been it, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Clark.
Yeah.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate you, Ryan. All right, 51 minutes into the hour. I love talking to him.
Yeah.
He is not scared, though. There are guys that will go on there and just be like, hey, this is the way it goes. Because he'll have to, like, I would assume you have to talk to these people at some point. Like, I'm going to have to run into somebody that I talk to. And especially with this show now, and I would assume ESPN's the exact same. Things that we say in here get to the people that we're talking about. And it doesn't matter who we're talking about. It gets to people that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that has been quite a wake-up call for a lot of things that have come out of my mouth now that I've learned that. But him, he's just like, hey, it is what it is, man. What are you going to do about it? And that's because he was an absolute savage bully on the field. He does not care if anybody has a problem with it. What do you got, Nick?
You know me. I'm a realist. I'm a cynic to the max. I don't mind a little of that. But now, what I got to deal with now is every time Minkah Fitzpatrick doesn't make a play, you're going to come in. Oh, Minkah, what's going on? Yeah.
First round pick.
First round pick.
First round pick. He's got to be good for 6 years. This guy, if he's first round pick, you're expecting him for
They're just
6
afraid
years.
to throw at him.
Oh, yeah, of course they are. I'm just saying, first round pick. I mean, Mike Tomlin knows what he's doing. I got faith in Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin just had an incredible quote.
He did.
Whenever he was asked about playing football, the Browns this Sunday, he says, we love being in the kitchen, and AFC North ball is in the kitchen. It's hot in the North. Mike Tomlin is the best. And another head coach that is potentially on his way out, I guess, is making moves. It is being alleged now by Manish, yeah. Manish Mehta, M-E-H-T-A, at M-M-E-H-T-A-N-Y-D-N on Twitter. The Jets are trying to trade Le'Veon Bell per sources. We don't know if this is a factual statement, by the way. We have no idea. I didn't even know how to pronounce his name. I appreciate him. He has a blue check mark. It looks like he knows exactly what he's talking about, but anytime these kind of get leaked out, you don't know if it's just the team leaking false information to get a taste of what their fans would think about it, a la what we were told by former Marlins president
Dave Sampson.
Dave Sampson, who said that he does that or used to do that as a president of the Marlins. They would leak information out to the public just to get the team's fans' response, and then they would potentially do that. I'm not saying the MLB and the NFL are the same, but I would assume those particular moves are made on a regular basis that the public doesn't know about. If the Jets are trying to trade Le'Veon Bell, I don't think Le'Veon Bell's people would be upset about that at all. He got a contract that he set out to get. He's not being used in a fashion that I think everybody thinks he should be used, and he liked tweets stating that he was not being used in a fashion that he should be used. Adam Gase, from all accounts, is a man that if you don't agree with him, get the fuck out. Even if we suck, you get out, I'll stay. If they trade Le'Veon Bell, this will be an interesting little piece to the story of the Adam Gase Jets era, which has been completely dysfunctional and unsuccessful, but good for Le'Veon Bell potentially getting out somewhere. He is currently owed how much money this year?
So he is making $15 million this year.
I'm sure there are some teams who might look at some footage of Le'Veon Bell from a couple years ago and say, is he that same guy? It doesn't appear as if he is, and is that because of the situation, how he's being used, or because Le'Veon Bell doesn't want to play football for the Jets? Team would have to make that decision. They probably have to give something up, and they would have to pay him $15 million into the next couple years. It seems like that is not probably likely, but Le'Veon Bell, if he has anything like he used to have inside of him, is a player that some teams who might be on a run here who don't have a running back could potentially want.
Yeah, this has to be true because Lev Bell is good at football, and if we know anything about Adam Gase, he gets rid of all of his good football players.
And by the way, we've learned that if somebody has a down year, as soon as they get out from underneath the Adam Gase umbrella, they're going to have an MVP-like year the next year. So maybe a team will pull the trigger strictly because of the Gase factor, but that's a lot of money to pay a guy that hasn't had his best film in a couple years.
If so, it is 15 this year, but like next year, I believe the dead cap's only like 4 and stuff like that. So
that's not bad at all to get Le'Veon Bell. Maybe somebody will take a shot. Who needs him? Who doesn't? Is Le'Veon Bell at the Jets about to be something of the past? That'll be a failed relationship, which happens a lot with Adam Gase and with the New York Jets, it feels like. 10 seconds till the end of this first hour. In hour 2, we have Josh McCown, then Aaron Rodgers in hour 3. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Tuesday, October 13th, Mad Dog Sports Radio. A perennial Pro Bowler, an all-pro, a man who's aging like fine wines, Green Bay Packers legend, Super Bowl champion, from Butte, California, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron
Please tell me that that's going to be a one-time thing.
What is the longest you've ever thrown?
Yeah, somewhere between 68 and 70, Pat. I don't know, right in that sweet spot.
69 yards is how far you threw it. Nice, congrats.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Of course you have, by the way. Of course you have. That doesn't get you going for a game? Are you kidding me?
No, but I have a funny Creed story. So, in 2007, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. We're 10-1. I have long hair. I'm a backup. And before the game, we walked out on the field, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but our intro song was Creed with Arms Wide Open. I looked to my buddy Nate Weir, who AJ knows Nate really well, and we both said this is going to be a good night. And that was the night I came in off the bench and played pretty well and kind of changed the narrative about me from, possible draft bust to, hey, this guy might be able to play, maybe.
Thank you, Creed.
Yeah! My kids say, like, oh, if they see him on TV, oh, there's Uncle Aaron, look at that. Oh, Dad, is that Uncle Aaron's dog? I'm like, nah, it's a prop dog. They're like, well, what happens to that? I was like, oh, I think he has it killed after me.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Like, oh, no,
AJ.
no.
I noticed this past Sunday, you were smiling, shaking hands, giving a lot of high fives to the boys on the side. What have you seen in this old footage that has rejuvenated your love? Or is it something else about this 2020 season that seems to have you just in a better headspace?
Why am I having so much fun?
Bingo.
I have just a new and increased love of life. And I've made decisions and changes and habits that put me in a lot better headspace. And there's just a lot of things that have come together in my life over the last few months that have really been enjoyable and reminded me, given me perspective on life and in football to view things through the most positive lens I possibly can. And that's why I'm having so much fun. And it starts with love. And then surround yourself with people that you really enjoy. This show is, to get sentimental, this show is just another step in that, because I love Age so much. And Pat, I have so much respect for you and the boys. Like, this was such a fun opportunity. And now I look forward to this every Tuesday.
I know, I told her about it. I was like, you have expectations of the New York subway. Don't worry about it.
I can hear that roar from the crowd. It's from Pat McAfee. This environment is electric. We just walked in here, and I'm expecting some magical stuff to happen here this evening.
The guy who lost, he's been arrested and reported 13 times.
A baker's dozen is a lot of times to get caught doing something wrong and going to jail. It's almost kind of nice to see that Russian kid play bongos on his face there, but it's been awesome this evening.
As a former NFL player, who's a guy that you think would be pretty good in the ring?
The only name that came to mind was a guy named Robert Mathis, okay?
Yeah.
Robert Mathis, not only this incredibly tough man, but the way he utilized his hands as an undersized defensive end. The human cockfighting world is one that I am very intrigued by. The amount of training, the amount of discipline, the amount of strategery, everything about it. The dude's got cinder blocks attached to his wrist. I think tonight is going to be a big night against Tarasenko.
I was going to say it 3 different ways.
Tarasenko. But I just think Triple G is such a magnetic fighter, and that's why this place is lit up the way it is. I was told not to blink, keep my eyes open. I brought Visine, I brought the vitamins, and I am expecting something awesome to happen.
The winner by unanimous decision.
Hey, wait, are we on the screen right now?
Big screen in Madison,
in Madison Square Garden. In Madison Square Garden? Hey, Mama, we made it.
Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 2 of this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday begins right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop there. It is Tuesday, October 13th. Josh McCown will be joining us in about 22 minutes. And in an hour from now, Mr. Aaron Rodgers coming off of a bye week. Woo! Tonight, Bills and Titans will play Tuesday night NFL football for the first time. Should have done research. Long time.
There was a blizzard.
2010.
There we go. It's been a decade since the last time. There's a Gumpy nuke right there. It's been 10 years it has been since there's Tuesday night NFL football. The Buffalo Bills travel to Nashville, Tennessee, where a COVID outbreak happened just a couple weeks ago inside of the Titans franchise organization, which has postponed a game, suspended a game, and now here we are on Tuesday night. That stadium will have 9,000 Titan fans inside of it. Hopefully none of them will have COVID, and Josh Allen will hopefully continue his MVP campaign on Tuesday night. We will say that everybody on Get Up picked the Buffalo Bills to beat the Tennessee Titans, which kind of made us all a little bit gun shy on our Buffalo Bills pick, because if everybody likes the Buffalo Bills in the sports gambling world, they don't have chandeliers in casinos for no reason. Do they know something that we don't? Well, the Tennessee Titans, who have an incredible running back in Derrick Henry, who might have had 2 weeks break, 2 weeks rest, will they be able to hammer it and run the rock against the Buffalo Bills, who are a tough team? Will they be able to throw the ball off of play action with Ryan Tannehill? And will their defense be able to keep up with a red-hot Josh Allen? TBD tonight, Tuesday night NFL football. All the boys are here, at Tone Diggs, at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt, and at Viva Lazito has a big old poll on the internet right now revolving around said young quarterbacks. What is the outcome of your poll right now, says Zito?
So Danny Dimes is at 1.2%. That's very sad, but
the poll is, if you were a GM and had to take a first or second year quarterback to build your franchise around forever, and if your team stinks, you die. You don't just get fired, you actually die. Who are you taking? The four: Danny Dimes, Justin Herbert, Joey Burrow, and Kyler Murray. What are the results thus far, Zito?
Like I was saying, Danny Dimes 1.2, Justin Herbert 33.1, Joey Burrow 37.2, and Kyler Murray 28.5.
It's a very tight race. We have 15,000 votes in there. And Danny Dimes, people forget that 1 year ago, the same things that are being said right now about Herbert and Joey Burrow were being said about Danny Dimes. New head coach, new offensive coordinator who hasn't called plays since 2012, and Jason Garrett. Now Danny Dimes with no Saquon Barkley has fallen off the relevance cliff. Is everybody turned on Danny Dimes? It sure feels like that in this vote. And 1 day removed, or actually 1 morning removed, from Justin Herbert putting on an incredible performance down in New Orleans against the New Orleans Saints. He's at 33.1% in second place behind Joey Burrow, who might not survive forever, which is what this poll says. If you're to build your franchise around forever, I guess your first move for Joey Burrow would have to be an offensive line, because that son bitch is getting rattled and wrecked every single weekend, standing right back up and continuing to play good football. Let's hope he survives. And Kyler Murray, first 2 weeks awesome, next 2 weeks not great. This past week against the Jets, did he get it back, or is that just the Jets being the Jets? Nobody knows, and obviously that's why he is in third place. Not a bad little Aaron Rodgers Tuesday here. We had Ryan Clark in the first hour talking about Justin Herbert, and obviously the comparisons to Tua are going to be forever, at least for the next 5 to 10 years, until somebody either wins a championship or gets re-upped and paid a bunch of money. But Justin Herbert looked incredible last night. What will Tua be? We have no idea, because 2020 COVID NFL season for the Dolphins is Fitzmagical in this entire thing.
Could you imagine the Chargers with a full team? Like if Herbert had all his linemen, if Derwin James was playing, if Eckler was playing, if Keenan Allen played the whole game.
Say what you just said, that first sentence what you just said again.
Could you imagine if the Chargers had a whole team?
That is a question that I think Chargers fans have been asking for over a decade. It feels like that team always gets hurt.
Yeah.
It really, and it's not just like the NFL is an injury league. Teams get injured. People get hurt. People are out. You just got to hope that it's not your big dogs that get hurt. You just have to hope that it's not them. Or it has to be, you hope that it's at a position that you're deep at. But it feels like the Chargers are always playing the who's hurt, who do we got left game. And I don't know if that's because of the doctors. I don't think doctors can avoid injury. I think a lot of it is just misfortune. But it doesn't help whenever you got people going on the sideline like your starting quarterback whenever they're shoving needles into your lungs. But hopefully Justin Herbert will usher in a new era of potential healthy team, a full team, because that team could be something special. And Tom Telesco has to feel damn good that Joey Burrow won 1, 2 won 5, and he got a chance to pick this guy from Oregon, and nobody knew if he had it or not. And that son bitch has it, I think.
Yeah, at least on the offensive side of the ball, he's definitely making the guys around him better because he's throwing long touchdowns to these guys we've never heard of. But I have a question for you. In terms of, like, how much tape you need to look at a guy before you can comfortably say, like, okay, yeah, this is our guy. Like, has Herbert already shown them enough through 3 games where it's like, okay, we're right. This is our guy moving forward. We made the right decision.
I think you can normally tell within like the first day or two of like live game action. I think as soon as we all saw Justin Herbert there against the Chiefs, whenever he found out 5 minutes before the game that he was playing and we saw the plays he was making, we're like, oh, this guy's got it. Okay, like this guy's game is not going to die in the transition from college to the NFL. This guy's game will translate to the NFL, and we're probably going to see the best Justin Herbert we've ever seen in the NFL. I think it's very apparent early on whether or not a guy's got it or not. Now, situations can be absolutely terrible. But I think everybody knows that with Joey Burrow, and everybody's like, yeah, this guy's game translates into the NFL. I think you can find out a little bit earlier than you think, but I would assume that the Chargers are doing victory laps, and they made the decision to not go back to Tyrod Taylor. Right. So they know that that's the future as well. What were you going to say, Nick?
I was going to add that situations are situations.
Yes.
Well, people forget. Yeah. People forget that situations, 100%, situational.
Herbert against the Chiefs, too, one of the first plays. He ran around. He was trying to get the first down. He, knocked out a linebacker who was trying to come and hit him.
Popped up, by the way.
Yeah, and
jogged back. Guy's dead on the side of the field. Yeah. I mean, I think they saw very early, and they were like, well, obviously we're bummed that the doctor shoved the golf tee into Tyrod Taylor's lung, and that makes us terrible. But goddamn, we got a guy, it looks like. Yeah. Looks like we got a dude, and I'm pumped for him. It stinks for Tyrod Taylor. We have been very vocal about how Tyrod Taylor has been incredibly unlucky throughout his entire NFL career, not just this, and he doesn't deserve it. I think he would have had a good career if somebody would have invested in building a team around him and all that. But now it is what it is. Justin Herbert is the guy, and they invested a 6th overall pick in him. And I'll tell you what, he's fast. And Ryan Clark said he reminded him of Cam Newton when he walked by him whenever it comes to a physical stature. It's like, okay, if this guy can be what Cam Newton was and what Cam Newton was building into, and he potentially has a weapon in Keenan Allen who got hurt last night. But, I mean, I think they're in a good spot. Yeah. And this is probably the most the Chargers have ever been talked about, by the way, and they're 0-4.
Well, not so long ago in 2018, the Chargers were supposed to go into New England at 12-4 and win.
Oh, yeah, and then buzzsawed the hell out of there. Phillip Rivers retires or leaves the Chargers a year after that, and now just throwing interceptions for the Colts. What's up, Tone Diggs? Oh, jeez, well, you too. Enough with the med ball stuff.
We said it last week,
He's a friend of the show.
I love Phillip Rivers, but he's throwing cinder blocks.
Pat Tone Diggs.
So at the Combine, Herbert measured 6'6", 240. And then I believe Cam measured 6'5", 245.
Yep.
Wow.
So imagine just standing up there, though, and looking at Justin Herbert and just being like, oh, so you're fucking everything they ask for in a quarterback. Yeah. But you're from a small town, which is the knock on him was he was from a small town. I think when I saw him last year in those big games, they zoomed in on his face, and he just looked like he wasn't in it. Like he just looked like almost too relaxed, which made me question whether or not, because to be an NFL quarterback, you got to be a killer. Like, you have to be a killer. It's just, and I'm not talking about real life Aaron Hernandez stuff. I'm talking like on the field, you have to be a guy. What's that, Connor? What's that? Why are you looking at me like that?
Please continue.
Come on.
I just didn't think we were going to bring up AH81 today, but here we are.
Well, I'm so sorry. Let's say Dahmer, okay? Like, I'm not talking about that type of human. I'm not talking about like a killer. I'm talking about on the field, you have to be an assassin. Like, you have to be the type of person that if you're playing checkers or chess and you're about to lose, you're not scared to, like, flip the board. Like, you have to be the ultimate competitor to be in that quarterback position. I think now, granted, I don't think to play the position you have to be that, but to be a successful one, I think we've all realized that you have to have a certain alpha mentality about, okay, I am the CEO of this team. I'm going to do this. At this moment, I'm going to do this. I'm okay with all the pressure being on my shoulders. And whenever they zoomed in on his face last year a couple times, I saw it. It just looked like he didn't even realize the moment, like how big the moment was. But now that I'm learning more about him, it's like, that is a part of his charm, is that he's just always the same guy. Because normally with younger guys, they ride a wave of emotion. He's just poised all the time, and then whenever they score, he celebrates. Like, he's not scared to celebrate, which I like even more. So I think the more and more I see of him, the more and more I like of him. And I think that's everybody at this point. And I just got told that in high school, he was a field goal kicker as well.
What?
Wow. Yeah, so, I mean, I absolutely loved it. By the way, just like I just said, the more and more I learn about this guy, the more and more I like about him. And I would assume Tom Telesco and the Chargers, that ball was an extra point, had good height. The refs had a little bit of guts on him. They've been comfortable over there in Oregon. But he's a kicker. He's a baller. He's 6'6", 240. He's a quarterback for the Chargers for the next 10 years, and they should be pumped about it, especially with that new stadium that was probably going to be a little bit difficult to sell tickets. Now you got this young boy wizard at quarterback who I assume is going to be very likable out there, especially after he came on our show. I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah,
I like
man.
He was stupid with the way he was talking about his Nike Adidas deal.
Right.
But that comes with time. He is just, I think he's the guy. I do believe he's the guy.
Is there ever a thought that like a quarterback is too smart? Like he overthinks situations and he doesn't just simplify the game, or no?
I would assume that could potentially fall into any type of situation. And that's the Wonderlic, by the way. The Wonderlic, the test that everybody's given, if you're too smart, you overthink every question.
Yeah.
And if you're too dumb, you can't read the question.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a fine middle there where you have to be like smart enough to understand the question, but dumb enough not to question every single part of the question, and then you just kind of move along with it. I don't know what Herbert scored on the Wonderlic. I would assume it was rather high, though. I would assume he did pretty well.
He won the academic Heisman last year.
Yeah, so I would assume he did okay there. You know what I mean? And they said, what Ryan Clark said was he was dissecting defenses. I wonder if he's like Andrew Luck, where Andrew Luck could just look at something, photographic memory.
Yeah.
Got it. Or Peyton had to like study. Like Peyton was like, I need to study. The more information, the better. Andrew would just look at a sheet and he was like, okay, I got it. Figured out. Dissected. I wonder if he's which type of guy he is. We're going to learn more about Herbert, though, as he goes. Hopefully they'll win some games. Let's go to Javier in San Diego. What's going on, Javier?
How's it going, Pat?
Hey, not too shabby, Javier. Sounds like you're in a little bit better mental space than me right now, but I'll try to catch up before Aaron Rodgers gets on. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not in a better mental space. I'm a Chargers fan, and I'm tired of getting my heart broken, man. 13 of the last 15 games, we've lost by one score games. And I'm just saying we need to fire Anthony Lynn ASAP.
All right. Interesting. It would be interesting to fire Anthony Lynn. A lot of I saw that on the internet last night rather loudly, that Anthony Lynn might not be the guy for this particular job because all the close games, it seems like they lose instead of winning. Then you're putting a lot of the onus on the coaching as opposed to the players as well. I think there's a lot to be learned about winning those close games. I think some teams can just figure out how to do it immediately. Some teams it takes a little bit. Last night, whenever I passed out and finished the game this morning, I think we all assumed that they were going to be able to finish that game because the Chargers answered Tom Brady last week, and Justin Herbert answered Tom Brady. He answered Drew Brees. I just thought they'd go ahead and win it, but that alarming stat there of 13 games lost, one-score games, it's just like, hey, if the ball bounces in one particular direction, you get it. If this catch happens or this holding call doesn't happen, and if you're a Chargers fan, you have to sit back and just hope that that shit stops, because I'm not 100% sure you can scheme your way out of those types of things happening.
That's what I mean. They left 4 points on the board last night in regulation. Like, it's kind of tough. Like, how much of that is Anthony Lynn's fault?
Exactly. And maybe you want to go with a new coach because you're going in a new direction with Justin Herbert, right? And it's like, hey, we just need a brand new operation here. But then you keep Tom Telesco stays?
Right.
So normally those two are kind of hand in hand. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by it. They seem to have found something here in Herbert, but being 0-5 stinks, I'd assume.
Wait, can't Anthony Lynn say, though, like, look, hey, the 1 year that we were healthy, we went 12-4 and we were unbelievable. We haven't been healthy very often, so can I get one more chance here, especially with a rookie quarterback?
They are literally never healthy. That Chargers team is never, ever healthy. Maybe they should dive a little bit deeper into that. But is Anthony Lynn, I don't know enough about Anthony Lynn and his coaching style and the Chargers to know whether or not it's time to get rid of him. But if Chargers fans are very loud on the internet, I'd assume they're sick of losing those close games.
I could be wrong, but I feel like he was rumored. He was very, very much on a very, very hot seat to end the year last year. And then it was like, all right, he's going to get another year. But then, like, when you have all these injuries and stuff like that, does he get another year? Does that set your franchise back? Like, who knows?
Let's go to Kyle in San Diego. What's going on, Kyle?
Doing well, Pat. Back-to-back San Diego fans. That doesn't happen often.
Well, it's the Los Angeles Chargers now, so even more so. But what do you want to talk? Sorry they took your team.
Left town.
You didn't deserve that. What do you want to talk about, brother?
So you're on the topic already with injuries. With what we're seeing in the NFL right now, a lot of people are blaming the preseason on all these extra injuries that are happening, but I'm kind of wondering what your take is on turf versus grass.
Steve Mariucci actually joined us last week, and he said it's actually not more injuries than normal because everybody assumed that coming off of the no OTAs and the training camp and the no preseason, that injuries would spike. And then a couple marquee names got hurt early, so that narrative continued to go. But Steve Mariucci, who's on some board or committee for the NFL.
Competition.
Health and safety and 911 committee for the NFL, whatever it is. He said that the stats actually do not show that there's more injuries this year. Now, that might have changed this past weekend. I'm not 100% sure. But when he joined us last week, he said it is not more injuries this year against the narrative that there would be more injuries. And because the marquee names happen, he said that it is just happening to much bigger named players this year as opposed to in regular seasons where it happens to maybe the 49th guy on the roster who's in special teams or the 48th. Injuries happen all the time. But the big named players getting hurt is problematic. And the turf thing, that has been a conversation for a long, long time. And I think that's why Mariucci brought up the point that the injuries aren't higher than they've always been. They're actually flattening out. So why would they want to change anything is kind of what he was thinking, and how difficult it is to have grass everywhere versus turf everywhere with high school teams and college teams and all that stuff. It's going to be very difficult to get grass everywhere, I guess. I mean, you could have the thought that they're all billionaires, like, yo, just get your own grass field and stadium, and if it has to walk outside like it does in Arizona and it does in Vegas, like, make it happen. But I don't know if that's going to be the gig. I think every human you talk to that plays a position that involves a lot of running and movement and planting, they all hate turf. They love the grass. But this has been a conversation that's been going on for like 10, 15, maybe even 20 years at this point.
And MetLife was a huge story. Like, it was specifically MetLife Stadium being a massive problem after Bosa and Thomas both, got hurt for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and by the way, MetLife has passed a bunch of inspections allegedly, but I don't know why players will come out and lie about that.
They played there again this weekend, and I don't think there was any more complaints from the Cardinals.
But did they change the field at all? Like, quietly, subtly, did they change something and be like, yep, well, it passed all the compliance and all that stuff, but maybe we do change that particular thing. Without anybody knowing, we would never know. I mean, we could act as if they'd be completely transparent with that if they did do that and just be like, oh, they would tell us if they changed it, even though players would not complain about something if it didn't make a lot of sense like that. But I don't know what they've done. I mean, it's the big names getting hurt, though, that is the big story.
We did hear that they got new yellow shirts, though, after a debacle in 2019.
Don't even start, dude.
Oh, you're talking about because Zito.
I tried taking that stadium out of its. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you did.
Never mind.
We got to get to a break. For those that don't know what we're talking about, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, the MetLife mishap. Zito tried to take down MetLife Stadium with an RV.
Before he could take out other people's ACLs.
He actually charged an awning at full speed.
Half speed.
No.
Full speed.
It was like full speed.
60 miles an hour. Got the entire top of the RV ripped off, and the awning fell to the ground. And then Zito backed it up back through to do double the damage on both the RV and MetLife.
$400,000 worth of damage.
Yep.
Bingo.
And that was just a quote.
That was a quote, yeah.
Probably much more than that.
We weren't told we had to fix it because the awning they're actually taking it down.
Yeah.
So many
Did
people
him
hitting
a
it.
favor.
21 minutes into the hour, we got to get to a break. Practice squad quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles who lives in Texas, Josh McCown, will be joining us on the other side.
Yeah.
This is Channel 82, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, home of JT the Brick.
15 seconds before I hit the anvil. I've been trying to time myself out for 15 seconds. I've never spoken for 15 seconds before. There's no chance. It's a new era for college football. All right, let's go. You're all badasses. Thank you all for your service. Have an incredible day out there. It's the safest place in America right now. Holy hell. All right, everybody smile. You're probably not supposed to. Hey, safe travels. We appreciate the hell out of all of you. Go kick ass. Hoo-ah. Hey, the best game in the history of the drumline is going to be today. You guys are going to steal the show and set the back. How's it going? My name's Pat. I swing a big hammer, and when I talk, people listen. A long fucking day. So I had to switch it to damn. When I get going like that, it really catches. Hey, big cold swing today, huh? Another week about to start, Foxy. Triple H texted me, said he enjoyed it. Nice. He said if anybody's making fun of you for the size of your hammer, just tell them it's not the size, it's how you swing it.
McAfee Show.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on this Tuesday, October 13th. Joining us now is a man who's on a practice squad, I do believe, for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been in the NFL for 18 years. His NFL career can buy scratch-offs and other stuff. In Canada, I think you can go to the bar. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh McCown. That hair, oh my God, your hair right now, Josh, with the farm in the back, you look like this is out of a movie right now, Josh McCown.
Perfect. That's what we were going for.
What are you doing right now? What are you doing? You're coaching right now back in Texas? Is that what's going on? What's the life like?
No, not coaching. Just keeping the boys squared away. They're playing some ball, and just supporting them, and obviously zooming in to meetings with Philly.
Okay.
And trying to keep that thing alive in the NFC East. So yeah, but staying busy for sure.
Okay, whenever the practice squad move was made, I think I reached out to you and was like, hey, can we talk about this? You're like, we'll talk about it at some point. Well, how did this all come about with you going to the practice squad? They want you to still be a part of the operation because your wisdom is next level. That's why you're part of the Zoom call still. Are you almost like player coach Jackie Moon at this point? Or is it like, hey, if Carson goes down, we need a guy. We still want to be able to call you up at any moment?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put myself in the same category as Jackie Moon.
Okay, it's smart, by the way.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
However, just being another set of eyes for Cars as best I can, and trying to help him. We just went through the tape a little while ago, watching the Steelers game, and we're growing as an offense. There are good things happening. The coaches are doing a heck of a job, and so. Like I said, thank God we're in the NFC East. We're still alive, and it's still very early, and so things can come together. But I think that was the idea, was just to continue to be a part of it, continue to be a voice for Carson, and try to help him, and also obviously stay ready during a global pandemic. You never know what can happen, and in the event that we were to, one quarterback was to get sick for whatever reason, God forbid, and then the other two. At least we would have somebody available. So I think it was all encompassing in that regard. But I think more than anything, the main focus is being able to lend whatever hand I can from a knowledge standpoint, and just share some experiences and hopefully give to the group that way.
I was an NFL quarterback, obviously, perfect passer rating on Thanksgiving, but I don't have as much knowledge as other NFL quarterbacks. And every NFL quarterback that gets on television and talks, they said that Carson was basically forcing things early, it felt like, in this season. Felt like he was doing or trying to do too much. How do you talk to somebody that is in that middle of that? And is that how you saw the first couple weeks potentially, where Carson wasn't playing his greatest football, as opposed to what we were used to seeing at the end of last year, where he put the entire team on his back, basically, and carried them?
Right, exactly. I mean, I think, that's a work in progress, obviously, with the shortened off season and all those things, and coming together with a bunch of young receivers. There's going to be some ups and downs, and that's what I mean. We got to kind of stay the course. Went through this similar last year, where we're fighting it out, kind of up and down, inconsistent, and then down the stretch, played some really high level football, and Carson basically took us into the playoffs. So we're always chasing that consistency. I think that's the idea, and I believe we'll get there. I believe that's coming. You've seen more and more. Fulgham making plays, Hightower's coming along. These young players, Greg Ward is continuing to be as consistent as ever, as he was down the stretch and then into this season. So, some of these guys get back, Rager, Deshaun Jackson with some speed, and that'll continue to help our offense. But it's a long, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And again, we're in the NFC East, so we got that going for us. But we're always chasing that high level quarterback play, especially what we saw from Carson down the stretch for sure.
That's a real thing with the NFC East, because nobody's running away with it. So even if you don't get it figured out till week 9, you go on a little bit of a run. You're still in a good spot. Which, by the way, that team that potentially wins, 8 games, 9 games, maybe 7 games, and gets in the playoff. It doesn't matter when you get hot. It's just if you get hot. And if it happens in the playoffs, you can do absolutely anything. So maybe Eagles gloom and doom isn't the right time. There's been a guy that was drafted, obviously, in the second round of the Philadelphia Eagles who's gotten some play time. Jalen Hurts is obviously in those quarterback Zooms, I would assume. What have you learned about him? How is his relationship with Carson Wentz gone? It seems like Jalen is like the perfect guy to be there in that situation right now.
Yeah, obviously a talented young dude that I believe will be at some point, in his career, has a capacity to be a high level starter in the NFL, just from his skill set and his makeup. And he does a good job in the meetings, just soaking it up, taking it all in. Obviously not there on the in the day to day, so it's hard to observe like how relationships unfold, but there seems to be some good, conversation as far as the meetings are concerned, and came in, I think completed his first pass the other day in the game. So finding ways to get him on the field. There's obviously some juice when you see him touch the football, whether it's carrying it, and obviously made a great throw the other day. At this point, it's always all hands on deck to move the football, to get the team in the end zone, and to win football games. And I know that Carson Wentz is for that. I know Jalen is for that. And so I think the future is very bright for him long term, but in the immediate right now, whatever he can do to help us win, I know he wants to do that, and that speaks to his character. So I'm glad he's a part of our team.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And everywhere he's gone, people love him. So it's nice to hear that happening inside the Eagles organization. And I apologize. Your haircut is just flawless. Maybe the best haircut I've ever seen at this point. You might have. Did you get that done immediately before the Zoom call that you were on before this conversation?
No, it was a few days. It takes, like, as you know,
mature.
As a fellow, good haircut. There's a kind of an incubation period. That word's being thrown around here lately, but that you have to have a cut, and then you kind of let it fresh cut is almost a little too tight. So it's a couple days after where you really start feeling really good about it, and that's where we are right now in this phase.
Yeah, well, you should feel very good about it because that particular haircut there has matured in a beautiful fashion. I mean, just next level. What do you got, Tone?
Josh, you're obviously on the board of trustees for the Journeyman Quarterback Club, but is Ryan Fitzpatrick the king of the Journeyman Football Club?
Yeah, I would think so. Just at least he would get my nomination.
Okay.
Just because. Yeah. The body of work, the productivity, and you look at whatever situation he's in, he plays and he plays well and he has fun doing it. And we've kind of crossed paths. It's I don't think it's like universally possible to be on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. Like the whole thing would fall apart. So we've never gotten to be teammates, but following him at the Jets and in a few different places that we've crossed over, and everybody speaks so highly of him. He's a stud. I root for him every time he's on. I enjoy watching him play. I think he's an super, super smart dude, obviously at Harvard, but just on the football field and how he plays and he's relentless. Like we went down there last year, obviously lost a tough one to them, and he throws a pick like the first play of the game. And I remember telling people on the sideline, like, hey, that stuff doesn't matter to Fitz. That's the worst thing that could have happened to us. Is for him to throw an interception the first play of the game, because he has the best short-term memory. He's going to keep spinning it, keep slinging it in there. So I'm a huge Fitz fan. And if I'm on the board, he's the chairman.
I will tell you this. I'm not sure if he has the best short-term memory after throwing interceptions, because Phil Rivers is up there. I mean, that guy, watching him play, it is awesome to have that mentality. He is a shooter in basketball that'll miss 15 shots, but at the end of the game is waving his hands, yelling to get the ball back. He is going right back in there and doing the same exact thing, and I respect it. Gunslinger's gotten him a long way. I want to talk to you about last night. Did you watch last night's game between Drew? Texas guy, obviously, Drew Brees, obviously have a lot of respect for him, but Justin Herbert, he's got it, right? I mean, that guy has got it, and this sucks for Tyrod Taylor. They put a golf tee in his lung, punctured that thing, he's out, but Justin Herbert is the guy. It feels like he has a great future if they can stay healthy ever, which the Chargers never can.
Yeah. First and foremost, I'm a huge Tyrod Taylor fan. I think
us too.
And hate that this has transpired the way it has. Definitely think hopefully he doesn't go through what Ryan and I have gone through, but definitely think he may be a future member of the Journeyman Club.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, and maybe sit on top of that list someday. He's a pro's pro and an absolute stud, so I want to give him his due because it's an unfortunate situation. That said, Justin Herbert, I think, is going to be a heck of a player. And, I was sitting there with my sons when we were watching the game last night, and he was like, Dad, what do you think? And I was like, he kind of comps to me a little bit like Carson Palmer-ish, but probably – a little bit more athletic.
Yeah.
But man, he can really spin it. And I was, in Tampa with a coach named Marcus Arroyo, who's now the head coach of UNLV, but he worked at Oregon with Justin. And 2 years ago was texting me about the kid and just telling me what a stud he thought he was going to be. And so he's been impressive to watch. The ball jumps out of his hand. He's making good decisions. He can get the ball downfield. And I think the Chargers are in a heck of a position moving forward with this young man because when you have a guy that can not only win from the pocket, he's big, strong, you feel like he can stay healthy, but also athletic enough to make plays with his feet, the future is bright.
6'6", 240, Josh.
It's not fair.
Ryan Clark was on in the last hour, and he said The only feeling he's ever had next to a quarterback like that was Cam Newton. He's like just the physical presence of him. And he seems to have this poise that I almost judged him for whenever he was at Oregon because it almost felt like he didn't even know the moment that he was in. But I think he's always like that. And I think he's only going to get better. I like him more and more the more I see him. I just think he's going to be that guy.
Absolutely. I think, too, and like my buddy who had been in the league, Marcus had been in the league and then went down to college. I think a certain type of coach, once you've experienced the NFL, it's easier to project some of these kids in college where people may not have been as high on them. But then you go, when he gets in the league and he gets asked to make some of these NFL throws, the game is actually going to tailor better for him. And I think about like Dak Prescott coming out of Mississippi State. Like the game favors them more because the hashes are closer. The arm strength can be showed off even more. So I think that's the case with Justin. I think the NFL game was more tailored to his skill set. And so, with that said, I think you'll see more and more impressive things. I've just really been impressed with how well he's thrown the ball down the field. And then like the touchdown across the back of the end zone, just the short space accuracy that he's showing. The kid can flick the ball, and I think he's going to be fun to watch for a long time.
Hey, can spin it, can flick it. Hey, any other quarterback little you can drop in here, I do appreciate. You're down there in Texas, obviously big Texas guy. Dak Prescott, you just mentioned how Mississippi State coming out of there, you thought the NFL would tailor to him a little bit better because he's got a strong arm. Obviously, incredibly sad situation for Dak. He'll come back, hopefully 110% even better than he was before. Hopefully, he'll get the long-term deal. Stephen Jones has come out and said Dak is still our future. We're not going to say that. They've been saying that. They have not signed him to a deal. The business side of the NFL is an ugly one. But let's move past that because we do have a season to be played right now for the Dallas Cowboys. Is that not why, though, because of an incredibly unfortunate situation that happens to Dak, you bring in an Andy Dalton because he's been there, done that, and that's why you have a veteran backup quarterback whenever you need him?
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure that's been my career as a backup, obviously, and I think that's why you have insurance that you do in Andy, and I think it's a great situation. I do believe if there's a silver lining in any of this, and thoughts and prayers for Dak and a speedy recovery, is the value that you'll see that he has to the organization. And if there was ever a player that would maybe gain more leverage by getting hurt, it may be Dak, because you're going to see, and it's not a knock against Andy. Andy's going to be a terrific player, but it just the emotional leader that he is of that team and the emotional value that he brings to that team, you can't measure. And you really only get close to measuring it when something like this happens. And so hopefully the club looks at this and goes, wow, we can't afford to lose this. And let's send a message to our team that when you go out there and you put it on the line for us and something like this happens, we're not just going to kick you to the curb. We're going to actually do the right thing. And hopefully they'll get a long-term thing done. Deal done, and he can move forward. But you're absolutely right. You have Andy Dalton there, who's won a ton of games in the NFL, who's played good football, came in, didn't miss a beat the other day in the game, got him down there, won the game. Obviously, as an opponent in the NFC East, I don't like to see it. I do root for Andy because he's a fellow Texan, and I wish him the best. But yeah, it's why you have the backup quarterback. It's why you need it, and good for them for having that insurance policy. And hopefully, the things get done with Dak moving forward. They do right by Dak, and it not only for their organization but for the league in general. It would just speak volumes to the care from an ownership group of what they really believe about players.
Man, that would be really cool. Everything you just said there sounds really cool, but boy, it feels like the business side of the NFL is normally ugly. I hope they pay Dak, though. I hope it happens because it'd be the right thing to do. And I apologize for asking you about an NFC East team because their failures are actually really good news for you.
Yeah.
Hey, hopefully Andy Dalton, also a friend of the show, just has a terrible year, but you get it. Ty, what do you got?
Josh, Pat alluded to it earlier, how you're kind of a player coach this year. Given how much experience you have in the NFL, is coaching something that you like? Coaching in the NFL, is that something that you want to do moving forward, or not really because you had such a long playing career?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that's definitely something that is in the in the forefront of my mind now at this point in my career. When it was never really a thought early in my career, and then when I was out of the league, coached high school football, and then came back to the Bears and was playing for Lovie Smith. Rod Marinelli was our defensive coordinator, but Rod really started pulling me into this and talking to me about coaching and just and would just leave me little notes in my locker or leave me little articles about this kind of coach or that kind of coach and different things like that, and just watching them how they taught and how they carried themselves with the team, and then with Mark Trestman as well the year after, just watching how an offensive coach could go about that. It really started to kind of turn my heart to want to really think harder about that, and as my career has gone on, that was in 2010. I thought I'd be done, and here we are 10 years later. But as my career has gone on, I've definitely had more of a mind and a thought to it, and so hopefully one day that'll be the case. We'll see. But I certainly I think now, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity last year with Philly and even this year, to be able to spend time in a locker room, but maybe with your mind on what that might be like as a coach and the things that you want to prepare yourself for and the way that you want to help a team and serve a team and lead a team. I think it's been invaluable for me. And so, we'll see. One of these days, hopefully, I can make that transition and start serving in that role.
You're like an intern right now, or like a GA kind of. You know what I mean? You're not running the cards, I guess, at practice, which I guess you haven't really earned your stripes completely. But there's a lot of coaching vacancies that are about to be up there. With that haircut, your Southern accent, you walk into a general manager's office, I think there's a chance you get a gig. Josh, what do you got, Connor?
Hey, Josh, you were on the Jets in 2018 when Sam Darnold first came into the league. What was it like playing with him? What did you try and teach him? And do you see him having long-term success in the NFL?
He's going to have, that's a big question right now, and whether or not Darnold.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Listen, I absolutely believe in Sam Darnold 100%. Like, the dude can play. There's some things that no doubt need to be cleaned up. There's some decisions that need to be cleaned up that you're going to get with young playmakers. This happens, and we ooh and ah over some of the throws that he can make, and then he makes some bad decisions, and he's got to ring that in. That's what separates the really, really good players from the just average players. Is they have this ability to go, that's not the moment, that's not the time, and they eat the ball or they throw it away or whatever, and they live to fight another down. So I think that's the key for him. I think, the consistency around him too is a big piece. There was so much from an offensive personnel standpoint that needed help, and more playmakers, strength up front, consistency up front. Those things needed to change, and I think Joe Douglas and them are on the right track. Mekhi Becton, I believe, is going to be a long-term starter at tackle for them, and so the future moving forward can be good for Sam. I really believe in it. It's just getting the right people around him that can help him and surround him with more talent, continue to add talent, speed to that team. They need speed, and I think he's got a bright future. I really do, because he's a sharp kid. Like, this dude's smart, man. And he can execute an offense. He can digest any playbook you throw at him. And then what he can also do is the stuff you can't coach. And so I think if continue to grow in the system, continue to learn the system, and improve, and I think he'll be just fine.
You said they got to surround him with talent. They're allegedly trying to trade Le'Veon Bell right now that they just paid a year ago, try to get him out of there. Who knows? They're a cluster of an organization at the moment. That's not for you to talk about because you're currently in the NFL. That is not your job. Hey, Coach, if you get a head coaching gig and you need a special teams coordinator, go ahead and give me a call, pal, will you?
You're in.
Well, you're going to have to pay me a lot of money. Ladies and gentlemen. What's that?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Because everywhere I see your face, there's a dollar sign behind
it. Ladies and gentlemen, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, legend, 18-year NFL quarterback, Josh McCown.
Yeah, Josh!
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
He's awesome.
Yep.
Great guy.
He'll dunk on you, too.
He will yam on you out of nowhere. Yeah. Don't let that good haircut and that incredible jawline fool you. He gets in a charity basketball game. He is going for your soul. He literally shakes the shit out of people and then yams on them in those games. Just completely unassuming, by the way. Sneaky athlete. Okay?
Sneaky.
Crafty athlete there.
Kind of like Herbert.
First one in, last one out. Herbert, 6'6", 240. That little stat there was very interesting. I knew he was big. I didn't know he was bigger than Cam Newton, though. I mean, that is
brick shit.
Massive. And by the way, somebody hit him. He knocked him out, just stood up. Like, I guess the entire NFL, I would assume defense coordinators are showing that clip, by the way, just being like, let's also remember this ain't no little bitch white boy. Let's go ahead and maybe not throw our head into this guy. Let's go ahead and think about this at least once or twice. What were you going to say there, Diggs?
I was agreeing with you on that.
I thought you had like a little breaking news.
No, not anymore.
No breaking news.
No.
No breaking news at all?
Tony.
Oh, no.
Did
something happen?
No. I like putting a little heat on him there.
Yeah, you never know.
Come on,
You never know when Adam Gase notification.
Mike Tomlin during his press conference has been asked a lot of questions about the Browns game, and this is the first time that Steelers have played against Myles Garrett since Myles Garrett took the helmet off the guy and hit him with it in the middle of a game.
Bam.
Thus suspending him for the rest of the season. Mike Tomlin was asked about facing Myles Garrett for the first time since last year's incident with Mason Rudolph. And Mike Tomlin, being the legend that he is, says, we're not looking for that low-hanging fruit or that reality TV storyline. They're a 4-1 team. This is a big game in 2020.
Hell yeah.
You don't care about 2019.
Don't care.
I don't care about what happened. Yeah, so what? He took our third-string quarterback now at this point, his helmet off his head on primetime television while they were about to win a game and hit him in the head like it was whack-a-mole. We do not care. This is not a low-hanging fruit team, okay? No. We do not care that we have to play 14 straight games just to end out this season because the Titans couldn't control COVID. We do not care that Myles Garrett got broken off, has been a game wrecker since doing that to our quarterback. Only thing we care about is they're 4-1, and this is the AFC North. In the AFC North, the kitchen, it's hot in here right now. We got to get going.
Question, though, and I assume Myles Garrett is a captain. You definitely send Mason out for the coin toss, right?
Is that the first time they're going to talk? Very intriguing. That would be the low-hanging fruit, I believe, that Tomlin will be talking about. He did last week, though, send out TJ and JJ. Yeah. Those were the only two that went out there. Very interesting. What's that?
Not Derek Watt, the other brother.
It was interesting that he refused to put Derek Watt out there, and Derek Watt went on to pull a hamstring in like the first play he went out there. Is that because he was not an honorary captain? We will have to ask Mike Tomlin if he is to blame for that hamstring happening.
They really should be asking Mason Rudolph if he's nervous to go on the field because he still might have a little PTSD about what happened last year. You might have to strap that helmet to his neck.
Tom Brady.
Come on.
Tom Brady did not go on the field to shake Nick Foles' hand.
Nope.
Disgrace.
Patrick Mahomes did not go out to shake Derek Carr's hand, by the way, because people are saying it's because they're so mad about losing the game and all that, blah, blah, blah. I think it's potentially because of COVID. And they don't want to expose themselves to COVID. But I will tell you what, all eyes will be on Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett immediately after that game. I am excited to see. Maybe they dap it up, say, hey, bygones be bygones here. You hit me with a helmet. This whole thing happened. You got suspended, got paid. I'm no longer a starter. I'm more so like tabloid guy now. Let's go ahead and move forward.
Well, the fucking villagers came for Patrick Mahomes' head after him giving a hug to Stephon Gilmore, so he learned his lesson there.
Yeah, but now he's being...
Turns out he's actually all right, and he didn't get COVID, so that's weird for their storyline and how that works.
Who's there? You're talking about the scientists? Wow. Are you going after scientists right now?
Oh, science, Tony.
Their storyline?
No, carefully, my friend.
This is a very slippy hill.
I'm just saying there's some football websites who seem like they're attacking the game of football, but that's not for me to say.
Well, you just did.
Tony MD.
You did say it. You actually did say it. Now's the time to spoil the shit out of your dog with BarkBox. Ooh. 2 toys and 2 treats and a chew. It starts as low as $22 a month for $60 worth of dog chews and toys. You do the math right there, please. It's a lot of money saved, $38 saved. It's the best day of the month for our dogs is when their Bark Box arrives. My dogs, I have a Pit Bull Shar Pei that had a cancer tumor on the back of her head, got it surgically removed, had about an 8-inch scar because she's Shar Pei with a lot of extra skin. Yeah. Today she went to the doctors. I think she is, I haven't got the complete confirmed, but I believe she's getting, I shouldn't say it. I'll knock on wood. I think she's getting cleared of cancer.
Right. Yeah.
I think. Woo! I'm very pumped for her. And I have a Corgi dog that has really grown on me. He used to just shit all over the house every single day. Now he's become a really good dog. But their favorite days of the month are when their Bark Box arrives. Mm-hmm. They can sense whenever the delivery person shows up that there's good news in there for them. And the good news for them is 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew. And right now, you can get a free extra toy in every single box. That's worth $60 worth of toys for a year whenever you sign up your pup and get unique toys and snacks plus a free extra toy every single month. Tailored toys and treats shipped free every single month. Start now and get $60 in free toys. Unique toys, USA-made treats, free monthly delivery, and $60 in free extra toys. Are you kidding me? Go to barkbox.com/Pats.
Hell yeah.
Hour 2 is wrapping up here. Let's take some phone calls before we get the hell out of here. Let's go to Jordan in Michigan. What's going on? Jordan, Aaron Rodgers. Tuesday is in less than 12 minutes. What do you want to talk about, Jordan?
Oh.
Jordan's dead. Somebody go find Jordan in Michigan. Let's go to Ben in Pittsburgh.
Hey, Pat.
What's going on, Ben?
I was wondering which rookie wide receiver has impressed you the most this season.
Great question. CeeDee Lamb's been awesome to watch, obviously, with the Cowboys. He's putting up a lot of yards. Ruggs has been a game changer for the Raiders, though. He came back, and it was an instant offensive philosophy change for the Oakland Raiders. Just a week before playing the Kansas City Chiefs and getting a big win and scoring a lot of points, the Oakland Raiders were playing the New England Patriots. And all the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick and Ernie, the guy in the sky, did was they actually took away Derek Carr's checkdowns. They bracketed a checkdown every single play, and Derek Carr kind of looked lost in the sauce out there. Whenever they get Henry Ruggs back, if Henry Ruggs was playing against the New England Patriots, I think that's a very different game because Derek Carr lets that thing loose. He will air the ball out, and I think he has been a game changer. CeeDee Lamb, obviously. And whenever you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe what's-his-face is getting back healthy. He's coming back out. Rieger's coming back out. So, I mean, and also Chase Claypool, obviously on the show yesterday, he had 4 touchdowns yesterday. I think freshman, you get it. Rookie wide receivers have actually had a hell of a year thus far, and that was a deep class. Deep class. I believe 10 wide receivers got picked before Chase Claypool got picked. That's a lot of wide receivers, and they're all balling, it feels like. And Chase Claypool had 4 tutters the other day. It'd be tough to say anybody's doing better than him.
Yeah, PFS grading's got CD and then Justin Jefferson and Chase Claypool.
Oh, I forgot about Justin Jefferson.
Chenault Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
so
been
many.
So to say who has been the most impressive, I think the entire class has been.
Yes, it has.
Because it's a very deep class, and you would assume that whenever NFL teams are like, well, we're just going to take one or the other or whatever, and when people say that, you're like, well, one's going to hit, one's going to miss. This particular class feels like they've all hit, and it's because, I do believe, it's because of the gram. It's because of Instagram. So all these wide receivers, they work on their feet because it's great videos to put on Instagram. And I think they're all running better routes than they've ever have in the past, because working on routes and things like that used to be almost a task in the past. People wouldn't want to do it. But now these young wide receivers like showing off how good their feet are. So they're working on breaks, they're working on running, they're working on cutting as if it's content for Instagram. And who cares how you're getting in reps or how you're practicing? If it's just strictly to flex, keep going. I think that is potentially one of the reasons why. And I think their offenses in college obviously are airing it out, so they catch a lot of balls in traffic. But I think that working on your feet, which is one of the most important things as a wide receiver, is you have to be able to sell one thing and go the other way. I think the ability and want to flex on Instagram and post all your workouts is a major part of that.
Shout out
That's an incredible breakdown. I mean, AB might have been the first. I think he may have realized that too. That might have.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the feet on wide receivers are unbelievable. Their feet get beat up so bad because they're running full speed and they have to be able to stop and then go the opposite direction. That's why a corner is normally the most athletic person on the field, because they have to react to everything that's happening, where the wide receiver knows what they're doing. The wide receiver has to sell something that's not doing and going. The feet just get beat up. They just get jammed into the front of the cleats and everything like that. But it's amazing. And now putting it on the internet, it's like, look what I can do. It's like, damn, that is very impressive, better than I can do. And it makes them want to do it more. I think it's good motivation to continue to get better and better. And I think a lot of the young wide receivers' feet are only going to get better and better.
You always talk about vets leading young guys, too. I mean, you look at those top 3. CeeDee Lamb's got Amari Cooper. Justin Jefferson has Adam Thielen. And then Chase Claypool has Juju Smith-Schuster. So, I mean, they can follow those guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, boy. Let's go to Austin, Missouri.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Pat? Not at work today.
Hey, we appreciate that. You said you're missing work today or another work day?
No, not at work today. I was yesterday with the Sport Club.
Oh, great to hear from you again. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, longtime Giants fan, diehard, but we've been dying pretty hard. Are the Giants' problems too big to fix during Daniel Jones' rookie contract?
Great question. I think you guys are going to be okay. I think Joe Judge. I think you should give Joe Judge and his culture an opportunity to see what happens. Saquon Barkley's out. He's obviously an electrifying player. Danny Dimes, people have lost complete faith in him. I think that's more so in the entire organization. New York is 0-10 right now. Their teams. Not a lot of happiness. Joe Judge, it's his first year. Let's see what happens. And on the other side, Gase, maybe they'll get rid of him and it'll be a whole different world.
Yeah, hopefully.
Not 100% sure what's going to happen with Sam Darnold. Hour 2, wrapping up right meow.
Let's go.
On the other side, we got Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Go to the bathroom, do what you have to do, get a drink, get some vitamins, because in roughly 6 minutes, Aaron Rodgers, AJ Hawk, myself, and the boys will have a conversation that'll probably be quoted everywhere tomorrow, the next day, and everything like that, because that's what this show does. We give you things that nobody else can.
Hell yeah.
Stupid, ridiculous things that nobody else can give.
What?
That's the goal. That's the plan. Today is Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 13th, and he is on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Come and kick it with Hawk. He's smoking up, be like a boss.
a perennial Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, a man who's aging like fine wines, Green Bay Packers legend, Super Bowl champion, from Butte, California, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron
Please tell me that that's going to be a one-time thing.
What is the longest you've ever thrown?
Yeah, somewhere between 68 and 70, Pat. I don't know. Right in that sweet spot.
Oh, 69 yards is how far you threw it. Nice, congrats.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Of course you have, by the way. Of course you have. That doesn't get you going for a game? Are you kidding me?
No, but I have a funny Creed story. So, in 2007, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. We're 10-1. I have long hair. I'm a backup, and before the game, we walked out on the field, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but our intro song was Creed with Arms Wide Open. I looked to my buddy Nate Weir, who AJ knows Nate really well, and we both said this is going to be a good night. And that was the night I came in off the bench and played pretty well and kind of changed the narrative about me from, possible draft bust to, hey, this guy might be able to play, maybe.
Thank you, Creed.
Yeah! My kids say, if they see him on TV, there's Uncle Aaron, look at that. Oh, Dad, is that Uncle Aaron's dog? I'm like, nah, it's a prop dog. They're like, well, what happens to that? I was like, I think he has it killed after me.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Like,
AJ.
I noticed this past Sunday, you were smiling, shaking hands, giving a lot of high fives to the boys on the side. What have you seen in this old footage that has rejuvenated your love? Or is it something else about this 2020 season that seems to have you just in a better headspace?
Why am I having so much fun?
Bingo.
I have just a new and increased love of life. And I've made decisions and changes and habits that put me in a lot better headspace. And there's just a lot of things that have come together in my life over the last few months that have really been enjoyable and reminded me, given me perspective on life and in football to view things through the most positive lens I possibly can. And that's why I'm having so much fun. And it starts with love. And then surround yourself with people that you really enjoy. This show is, to get sentimental, this show is just another step in that, because I love Age so much. And Pat, I have so much respect for you and the boys. Like, this was such a fun opportunity, and now I look forward to this every Tuesday. I sometimes laugh when people talk about, down years for me, because a lot of times down years for me are career years for most quarterbacks.
That was awesome.
Hey, it's just the facts, bro.
You and me, I think, are the only people that can do it, dude.
That's old hat, Pat. I've been doing that for years. I've learned that in high school.
Hey, can you explain when you actually say the words hard count in your hard count and it works?
Was that trolling? That was definitely trolling.
I saw that. No, why would I say hard count? That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I did not say hard count.
I want to know what's this bye week like for you, man?
So COVID test every day, and at some point you got to let adults be adults and make decisions, understand the consequences. We can't hold everybody by the hand.
Yeah, a bubble would be awesome, Aaron. Put you guys all in one big hotel, huh?
Yeah, I won't be a big fan of that. All
I guess not.
The fucking media does is write stories to get clicks. So it doesn't matter. Like, I can give a long answer about something, and they can take a blip of it and write a story about it that has nothing to do with what I was saying.
So how do you know what to believe then, A-Rod?
I think you just have to be skeptical in general. I think that's having an open mind, is being skeptical and not just believing everything at face value, and do your own research and not just listen to something because somebody told you, some blue check mark on Twitter told you to believe something. You should have an open mind and feel into what you think is the truth.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, you were preaching right there, sir. You were preaching right there.
Come and kick it with Hawk. He's smoking up, he like a boss. Come and kick it with Hawk. He's smoking up, he like a boss.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, hour 3 of this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 13th, 2020 starts right now. Joining us now is a man who is a national champion and a Super Bowl champion, Mr. A.J. Hawk. AJ, it's Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. How you feeling? What are we going to talk to him about? He doesn't have a game. How's this going to go, you think?
You mean he didn't have a game is what you're saying?
Yeah, he didn't have a game that we can break down and maybe ask him if he said hard count. Said hot. What do you think today is going to consist of?
I don't know. I mean, because it wasn't a normal bye week for him either, so you're not allowed to leave town.
Yeah, he had to get tested, I believe, in the building, too. So I want to ask him about that, obviously. I'd like to talk to him about, I mentioned it to him last week, and I tried to do it in a fun, joshing way, hey, just joshing, but it seems to be gaining a little bit of steam. The bubble conversation in the NFL is starting to heat up. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and now there's numerous people talking about a potential playoff bubble for the NFL. I'm excited to hear his thoughts on that and how that'll go, and also maybe anything that he's watching or reading at the time to kind of take his time or his mind off of football if there's anything there.
Why are you so interested in what he is watching and reading?
Just because he and I had a conversation off air. It was one of our only conversations we ever had off air. And I told him he has to watch Ted Lasso. Hey, you have to watch Ted Lasso. The show, there's no reason for the show to be as good as it is. And then you watch it and you get into episode 2 and episode 3 and you're like, this was a commercial. I can't believe this show is so damn good. And I asked him, he said he hadn't had time to watch it, maybe bye week, but I would like to chat with him how he spent his time. Speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, a man coming off of a bye week, an undefeated quarterback in the NFL. From Butte County, California, by way of the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, quarterback, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Shirt! What a shirt!
Okay, all right, you good, Pat?
Sorry, it's a good shirt. I don't know if that's a really good shirt. I appreciate you for wearing that. It's good for kickers, punters, and everybody.
Who is this on here? Was this modeled after you or?
Yeah, both those are me, and then down to bottom.
Vinatieri and.
No, look at those quads. Down to bottom, that's John Dornbos, the magician. I don't know if he knows that, and he's probably going to sue us now, but he was the most A-looking long snapper that we could find on the internet. So, I mean, we appreciate John Dornbos for being the A in the brand. I appreciate you for wearing that. How was the bye week? You weren't allowed to leave. You weren't allowed to do anything. What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I was not on the leave. I had the COVID test every morning, just like all of our guys, and I think the positive thing, I heard you talking before I got on here about the bubble talk again. Positive thing was, there's all this worry about, oh my God, guys are getting free time and what are they going to be doing? And we had 0 tests in Green Bay.
That's what we're talking about. It's going to take all of us, Aaron. It's going to take all of us.
Takes all of us, yeah. You're right on brand there, Pat.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, Pat, make sure you got to tell him to vote, right?
Make sure you vote. Listen, if you don't vote, not have an Aaron Rodgers Tuesday ever again, okay? Make sure you vote.
Are we not doing the show? Because isn't the it's on first Tuesday in November, right? So we're just gonna skip the show.
No.
Vote in the morning. Go in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning
Yep.
or after, whenever. Just make sure you vote, Aaron. It's a big deal. You have to vote. So did you have to go into the facility to get tested, or did they come to you? And if that's the case, there really wasn't a bye week then if you're going into the facility every single day.
Yeah, well, the trailers are outside of the facility. They're directly outside the facility within a short little onside kick,
Cool. I like
from
what you
the
did
front door of the building. So, I was at the facility every single day, testing. I took some time. I took a few days off of all, workouts and everything, which just to make it feel more like a bye week, even though I went into the facility.
Smart.
I think that was important. But as usual, Pat, you know this, coaches love a lot of things. Not many things more than that bonus Monday practice after a bye week.
Oh yeah.
When all that grinding hard work that they've done over that week shows up, and you get to see what they've been working on.
Is it a day for you guys to get back to the basics, get back to the fundamentals, and just kill each other for 2.5 hours?
Well, this was not quite some of the ones that we were accustomed to over the years. That might have been, full pads. And before they made some of the rules about, a certain number of padded practices, I think it's like 14 now we can have. This Monday often was a full padded 2 hour. We had to show, our toughness, which, Mike's from Pittsburgh. I know you have a soft spot there, Pat.
Oh yeah.
That grit and toughness that comes from Pittsburgh. So we had some bonus Mondays are pretty rough. This was an hour practice. It was a lot shorter. It wasn't the same type of intensity that we've had over the years.
What was it, self-eval? Is that a self-evaluation, what we can work on, or is it strictly going into next week, just a bonus week of practice or a bonus day of practice going into this week?
No, I think it's more just clean some things up from the first 4 weeks for us. So we ran some plays. It was a lot of ones-on-ones. So it's stuff against our defense to where the stuff that they need to work on, stuff that we want to work on offense coming out of the bye and the self-scout. It wasn't that much. We probably had 25 or 30 offensive plays. So it wasn't like a ton of stuff. A lot of individual drill work, just kind of knocking the proverbial rust off, I guess.
So do you guys stink? Like, what did you realize by the self-evaluation? You're undefeated. There's a lot to work on still. We're only going to get better here?
Well, it's I said after the game, we all love winning. And as a players, organization, everybody loves winning. But coaches always like holding that little, we're just not quite playing our best yet. There's still some stuff to work on. Just those little adages that they can kind of, stick in their cigarette pocket and hold for later. Need to remind us we're not that good. It's that whole film doesn't lie stuff. It's never as great as it looks. It's never as good as it feels. It's never as terrible as it feels. Right after the game. I think that's that actually is true, but it also works in the favor of the coaches because even when you play a game, you feel like it's a complete game. They're always like, well, you're only 4 out of 5 in the red zone, and you're 6 of 11 on third down, so you didn't get 5 of those guys. Can't get too confident now here, with those percentages, even though those would lead the league at the end of the year. We got to hold something over your head here. That's kind of the way it goes, and I think that's good. You never want to be complacent, but sometimes you gotta enjoy the little things, the winning too.
I agree.
Wait, why do you think coaches have such a tough time? And let me know if you think this is true. When you're winning and you're playing very well, I feel like coaches get more nervous each week. Like, you're 4-0 now. I feel like each week they're getting more and more nervous, and they're going to tell you how terrible you are because they want to knock you down, take you down a peg, as my grandpa says. Do you notice that?
Hey, we've had a lot of conversations over the years about this. I just think that's part of it. I think there's anxiety that goes with both the spectrums, the winning and losing, because it can become a routine or a habit. And often that's when the complacency, or on the flip side, the apathy kind of sets in.
Ooh.
So when you're winning, the complacency can set in. I mean, it doesn't set in for guys who take care of themselves mentally and have a good approach and kind of stick to the routine. But I think it's more just coach talk a lot of times. They got to harp on something, and when you're winning, they harp on don't get complacent, and it's just kind of again something they can keep in their little black book of coaching isms that they can say at different times during the week.
The cliches of coaches are the best. I mean, I just control the controllables. Okay, we're going to have our blinders on, all right? Listen, we're going to do what we do for all that we can do for 60 minutes here. Nobody can say anything. And then whenever you win, we can't get complacent. Obviously, when you're at the top of the mountain, the only place you can go is down. How are you going to stay up here? Nobody knows. I mean, all that type of stuff is just insane. What you said in there was interesting. You said, though, you gave a quote about people mentally who are either healthy or in the same space. A couple weeks ago, you gave us a quote about you looking at yourself to become the best version of yourself, and it revolves around love. Do you still, after a week off and maybe the routine getting changed a little bit there, are you still in a great mental space? And did you watch anything like maybe Ted Lasso during the bye week to help that entire thing out?
I didn't watch Ted Lasso.
Oh,
Jesus.
Come on. Unbelievable. Don't vote, Aaron. Hey, don't vote. Don't vote on that Tuesday now that I think about it.
No, don't? Okay. The reverse thing right now?
Yeah. Well, no, I think if you make the decision not to watch Ted Lasso, you shouldn't decide who runs our country. But yeah.
Directly related there, yeah.
What did you watch? Did you watch anything cool?
You know what, Pat? I know that you're a big WE fan, so you got your shows you got to watch during the week.
Yeah.
But I would recommend to you. I know AJ watches next to nothing on TV. He watches like YouTube videos of Ultimate Warrior going on the Arsenio Hall show and stuff like that from the 1990s. But
what's another Chuck Berry?
I did not watch hardly any TV over the bye. Now the bye felt like it was just really Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I watched probably a combined 45 minutes of television during those 4 days. I was out in nature, just hanging out in a tent in nature, just camping on my own property.
You camped out on your own property during the bye week?
I'm kidding about that.
Oh my God! The internet would argue.
I was out and about. I was enjoying the elements, getting to some reading and relaxing, and I just didn't want to watch a whole lot of TV. I wanted to just kind of let my mind rest.
I appreciate that and respect that. Did you get a chance to watch the game last night, though? The Monday Night Football game between Drew and Justin Herbert. And what are your thoughts on Justin Herbert being in an interesting situation as a young quarterback? He looks like he's got it, that guy.
I didn't see a whole lot of that. It was on for a little bit with the sound off, which is how I've watched a lot of games on ESPN over the last few years.
No. Do you have issues with everybody at ESPN or just certain people? Like, who is it?
I like a lot of people at ESPN. I really do. I love Kenny Mayne. Kenny's one of my all-time favorites.
Love Kenny as well.
I enjoy watching football. I enjoy watching some Thursday night stuff and Sunday night and Monday night. But I enjoy also listening to music during the games and not necessarily all the commentary at times. But as far as Justin, I enjoy watching him in college. He comes from the greatest conference, the Conference of Champions, as Bill Walton loves to say all the time, the Pac-12. It used to be the Pac-10. Before that, it was the Pac-8. Yeah, Pat, Conference of Champions.
Still a conference, too, by the way. Hey, still a conference, still playing football, that Conference of Champions. Hey, don't take that away from your answer.
You could only dream about calling a game with Bill Walton, by the way.
I agree. I completely agree.
That would be amazing. I would love that, to have you three, you on the play-by-play and AJ and Bill going back and forth. That'd be quite the tandem. But no, I enjoyed watching him in college. Big arm. It seemed like last night, like I said, didn't see the whole game, but it seemed like he was making some pretty amazing throws. I think he had 4 touchdowns and no picks. They've lost, I saw a stat this morning, like 13 games by
one score.
One score, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. It's.
What is that, Aaron?
It's a lot of stuff. It's offense sometimes not being able to score in the 2-minute, or it's defense not being able to stop them in the 2-minute. It's like last night. They moved the ball down. Big receiver had a big kick. I saw that late in the game, or a big catch, and then the kicker missed it by a couple inches. If that's a couple inches more inside the post, it probably nicks it and goes in, and they win the game. It's just just how it goes sometimes. The game of inches, as you know, Patrick. And but I think he started off, throwing the ball really well. I feel bad for Tyrod. I've known Tyrod for a lot of years. I think he's one of the NFL good guys, and he's, not had a ton of opportunities to be a long-term starter. So I do feel bad for what happened to him. Obviously picking Herbert so high, you knew at some point he's going to be the guy. But, for him to step in the way he has, especially, when he found out 5 minutes before game time he was going to start his first start.
Yeah.
He's been pretty impressive.
Agreed.
Hey, Aaron, do you consider yourself a good talent evaluator?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Okay. Let me ask you a question then, because we have all these young quarterbacks playing very well. If you were the GM or owner of a team, which someday you may be, who knows? How long do you think it takes until you know if your franchise quarterback is your franchise quarterback? Like, hey, did we hit on this dude? How many games? Could you tell just from a practice? Like, what do you need?
I don't know, H. I mean, I think that's a hard question. I think first and foremost, you have to have certain skills. I think you can see a guy on the field.
Can I stop you real quick? I think when they were talking about some younger, I've heard them, like when guys come in and play at other places, they'll say something. But supposedly, scouts said about you, they're like, well, what did Aaron Rodgers look like his first day of practice? And they're like, he was slinging it. That dude could play. And they knew from the day you walked into Lambeau, hey, this dude is our guy whenever Brett is done. Like, so people knew that with you. Can you tell that with everybody?
I mean, I think it just depends on the personality. I think with some guys, probably so. I mean, it's how you step in the huddle. It's your control. It's the moxie. It's confidence. But there's just some things you kind of boxes I feel like you have to check. And one of them is being able to sling it. I think I was talking to somebody earlier. I think just being able to throw the ball at a high level, it can make up for a lot of different things. Like you look at Lamar, and as talented as Lamar is athletically, I mean, the guy's one of the fastest guys in the league. But you watch him in college, and he could sling that thing. I mean, he could really sling the ball. Big time arm. I mean, throwing it 75, 80 yards. And so you just knew, like, one, he's supremely athletic. Two, he can really throw it. So, like, footwork-wise, he's going to figure it out, with coaching and getting into an offense and time on his feet with the drops. Like, to me, that wouldn't have been a big issue. You just see the athletic ability and things you just can't coach. Now, you're interesting to see, like, his personality, how he's in the huddle, and obviously that's all worked out. He's an MVP now, and he's had a really nice start to his career. But just having kind of the basics, being able to move a little bit and extend plays, that's kind of the league we're in now. There's less and less kind of stats use back there at quarterback, like there was maybe in the late 90s and early 2000s. Big arm guys who just kind of stood in the pocket. Now there's a lot more guys who extend plays and move around. But being able to make those NFL throws, a lot of times it takes kind of seeing that in person in a camp, throwing an NFL ball.
Hey, what year is this for you playing? Not in the NFL, but playing?
13.
How do you – so like Andrew Luck, for instance, played for 8 years or 9 years, and he was good for those 9 years, and then obviously it wore on him. He didn't want to do whatever happened. I don't know what happened. He retires 12 days before the season or whatever. Joe Burrow, we're watching him right now. He's just getting killed. Like it is just, and I would assume some of it is potentially on him for holding on to the ball too long or rolling out of the pocket the wrong way or anything like that. But how do you stay consistent how have you stayed consistent so long? Is it like every day you have to have that coach think like I can get better and better? Or is it like a mental thing? What is it you think to be able to stay at a high level for the longest period of time? Because right now we're talking about all these young quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, he had the first 2 weeks MVP conversation. In 2 weeks he was down. Then 1 week he was up. Talk about Patrick Mahomes. He's been great here for 3-4 years, but who knows if he's going to be able to last for 20 years. Like, how do you maintain, and this is all credit to you and guys that have been able to play for a long time, Peyton, Brett, how do you maintain that high level for so long? Is it like super competitive? Like you have to be an ultra competitive human being to be a quarterback for so long? Or what is it you think if you had to put a finger to it?
Well, I think it starts to being hyper competitive. I think that's a trait with all the long time great players is you just have I love to compete, and a lot of times it's competing against yourself. It's finding ways to make drills competitive, meeting room competitive. Just just feel that need to compete in something. I think the most important thing is you have to be self motivated, and again that may seem like a standard statement, but it's not. I mean, not every player is self-motivated. I think, a coach of ours a while back said something I thought was interesting about the difference between motivation and inspiration. You can get inspiration from a lot of people in your life, or messages, movies, songs, but true motivation comes from within. And I don't think every player or person really has that. I think it's something that I think we all have it, but not everybody uses it. It taps into that. And I think the great players, the great business people, the great hosts, the great teams like yourself, you and the boys, you have to be self-starters. You wake up in the morning and you think, what am I going to do today that's epic? What am I going to do today that's going to change my life, my sphere, my circle of influence? What can I do today that's going to be meaningful? And and it's not some like magical formula every day. You got to come up with some idea or some earth-shaking thing. It's just like every great journey begins with the first step, right? And the first step sometimes is getting out of bed. The first step is making a list of things you need to do. The first step is, look at Alex Smith and his rehab. The first step was just like maybe taking a step. I mean, actually probably way before that, And again, just to segue, just seeing him out there was really special, and seeing his wife and kids in the stands, that was an incredible moment. But Alex is a guy who he's a self-motivated guy. I mean, how do you have to be to come back from something like that? I mean, the toughness that he has, the will, the grit, the competitiveness, and that's what the great competitors, the great athletes, the great business people, that's what they have.
AJ, I just ask this question real quick, and then you can go. At what point did you stop hating Alex Smith?
I never hated Alex.
Really? Well, hold on. So there was never like this guy goes to the team that I grew up a fan of, number 1 overall pick, and here I am having a draft night that everybody remembers still with that suit. It's just you never hated him? It was just one of those things like, well, that's the Niners' decision, not Alex's decision. I got to do what I got to do?
Yeah, I mean, it had nothing to do with him. Obviously we both wanted to go number 1. They decided to pick him. I couldn't hate him. Every time we hung out, I enjoyed him. I really enjoyed his personality. We had similar stories. He had 1 scholarship offer coming out of high school. I had 0. My first extensive time on the field at Cal was against Utah at Utah, and he was a first-year starter. So our careers really mirrored each other early on, and just being around this game for so long, you pull for the older guys and pull for the guys that you were drafted with. And one of those guys is Fitzy, who had a great week last week.
Oh, yeah. Fitzmagic's getting hot over there.
I've really enjoyed watching him play over the years, and just the stuff that he's done, his wit and intelligence. I love it. He's just a really interesting guy. And, just like him and Alex and all the guys that came out with us, it's Dan Orlovsky, who I believe has he been on your show yet, or he's coming on?
No, he's on the show. Yeah, by the way, he's been breaking down a lot of Aaron Rodgers film right now. A lot of Aaron Rodgers film right now on ESPN. He's breaking down your brain on ESPN right now, and it's doing numbers for him. So
he's the new ESPN expert, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the guy. He draws X's and circles and does this stuff, and he even has this thing on an iPad that shows like the vision. Like, look, he's looking this way, and he's doing that. He's the guy. He's the guy that teaches the football.
That's awesome.
Do you hate him? You hate Dan Orlovsky? I'll let him know.
I love Dan. No, Dan was we met at the Elite 11 quarterback camp in 2004 in the springtime. It was him, Derek Anderson, Kyle Orton, Brad Smith. If you remember Brad Smith?
Oh, yeah.
And Jason White from Oklahoma, the Heisman Trophy winner.
What a legendary crew right
there. It was a good group, man. A couple wild guys in there. You can probably imagine which 2 were the wild ones. But we had a good time. That was a fun trip.
Hey, how's Jordan Love doing? We don't hear much about him.
How is Jordan Love doing?
He's doing well. He's doing really well. I think this is this is a good time for him to learn, to see what it looks like, to see what the weeks of preparation look like, and just kind of soak it all up. I obviously was in his shoes a long time ago. This is the time I really feel like you start settling in That's different because we had a preseason and I got to play in the preseason, and you kind of got to get your feet wet a little bit. But once the season starts, you kind of settle into being the backup or being a backup and going through the process and figuring out for your own preparation what it looks like, listening, watching the way the week unfolds, seeing how the starter goes about his business. So it's a good learning time for him, and he's enjoying it. He's opening up more personality-wise, and it's been fun.
We saw you throwing snaps to him in the training camp or whatever, and there's always this conversation that's like, when a young guy gets drafted into a position and there's a vet, the vet has to do everything they can to prepare this rookie to be in the NFL. And if they don't, they're a bad vet, they're a bad leader. And it's like, well, the vet also has to worry about doing their job and moving forward. It's not like they're being asked to be the coach. And I would assume you kind of took that. It's like, hey, if you ask me questions, I'll help him out. I would love to help him out, but I also have to worry about me. How have you been able to balance that with Jordan? Like, how have you, because obviously that was a massive talking point. I mean, let alone Mad Mel and the amount of attention that got on draft night, but coming away from night number 1 of the draft, that was the only conversation. It was like, okay, they got Aaron, now they got Jordan. How will these two get along? Blah, blah, blah. And then we saw videos surfacing. It's like, just fine. Aaron's a human. He knows this isn't Jordan Love's decision. This is somebody else's decision. But how have you been balancing that whole mentor, but also I have to go win another MVP at the same exact time?
Well, thankfully, I've been through that process, so I know what it looks like, and I know what it sounds like and feels like when the starter says, it's not my job to get the next guy ready. Which Farby said. Now, what he said was the truth. Now, the way it was said and the context and everything, the way it was taken out of that context, probably didn't reflect his own feelings. But basically what he was saying was, look, I have to get ready to play, and the quarterback coach is going to get the next guy ready as well. That's his job. I mean, that is the situation. Luke Getsy is our quarterback coach, and he helps all of us out. There's, plenty of time in the meeting room and drill work and during the process of game planning for great conversation. And going through that process, I realized how important some of those conversations would have been to have, to talk about, what it feels like, what the preparation looks like, what to expect, what I need from my backups, which I think those are all important conversations to have. And, and I have those conversations with Tim and Jordan all the time. I talked to Jordan after the second week, and, I won't get into exactly what we said, but it was after the game, and it was kind of feeling the environment around a locker room after a win, and just the special energy that's in there, and just remind them just to soak it all up, because those are the moments that really make you feel great about what you're doing, because that's the culmination of a week of preparation and the process. So that's the fun part to think about, to start to daydream about when one day it's going to be your opportunity to do that. And he's been doing a good job. And again, they've wanted to make stories. They being the media, who's so sensitive. If I tell them they write clickbait stuff.
Oh, got him. It was a bit sensitive last week, though. I saw a lot of that.
Yeah, but that's what they want. It's Matt and I would never get along. And okay, that story, it looks like it's gone away. That Jordan and I won't get along. That story's gone away. Now it's that now let's give the organization credit because they picked the guy, so that's obviously why I'm playing well. It's just funny how they can win just about every statement they make in order to to make it fit their narrative.
Aaron, first and foremost, hope you enjoyed your bye week.
Yeah, Aaron. Aaron, we thank you. We hope you had a great bye week.
Good bye week.
As we're getting closer to Halloween here, I'm just curious, what is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever worn? And do you have any maybe suggestions for me? Because I'm not a huge Halloween guy.
Well, first of all, you have the great start to an outfit, which is a mustache. Yeah. So you can go a number of different ways. I would say that when I broke my collarbone in 2017, I was really thinking about, I was doing nothing. I was pretty bored. What can I do with a broken collarbone to kind of look my best? Is there anything I can do to, feel good about the situation I was in? And one of my favorite movies is called The Life Aquatic.
Oh, Steve Zissou.
Wes Anderson film, Steve Zissou, and that's the outfit that I did. And I spent a lot of time on it, trying to get it that looked just right, and I felt amazing about it. What I realized, though, Ty, in that moment was not many people who play on my team have ever heard of Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I had no idea right there. Yeah, that's a little bit of a struggle. Yeah.
I don't even know.
So when I showed up at the Halloween party that year, AJ can't talk. It's great he's muted. But when I showed up at the Halloween party that year, I mean, there were a lot of like, who are you?
Oh, jeez.
Sisu? Have you seen? Yeah, okay. Don't worry about it. I'm just like a sailor guy.
That's tough, though, because all the effort that you put in there just kind of got spit on because nobody knew the reference. That's tough.
A sweet pick. I believe it was with this similar background that I'm using right now. And I felt really good about my favorite outfit. But I would definitely look up some of the great mustache characters from some of your favorite movies and maybe go in that direction.
I'm looking at a photo of you. I have no fucking idea what that human is. By the way, you look good, though. Like, you definitely committed to said outfit for sure.
Throw it on the screen.
We got to send it over.
I got it.
It's a great film. It really is.
Yeah, is it? Nobody's seen it.
Truly.
AJ, what do you got?
Yeah.
It's better to have a costume that, your younger players don't know what you're doing than some of his ones he had in the past, which I know he probably wouldn't want to leak out there. Like, do you have any Halloween costumes you've worn that you don't want the public to get a hold of any pictures?
What are those, Aaron?
Oh, I don't know, Age. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. I can't say I've had some great costumes every single year, but one of the all-time best, though, I will say this.
Here we go. Yeah. This is what we're here
for. I had, this was like 2006 or 7. Long time best friend who goes by the nickname Papa. Age knows him. Him and I rocked the Dumb and Dumber suits with the top hats and the canes. And this was in 2000 and Age, I feel like you were there. Was it 2007 or 8?
Where was the party?
Oh.
And we went downtown dressed like that. It was back when downtown Green Bay.
Downtown Green Bay.
Ed Kelly's and what else?
Do you guys have a Halloween party out there? Do you host a Halloween party? Are you a guy that
we have? We won't this year, but anyway, that Dumb and Dumber, that was the best costume probably.
Are you a guy though that would host a team event at your house?
Oh, for sure.
That tells me a lot about you, but I just want to let you know that tells me a lot about you in a good way.
I hosted Thanksgiving the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Christmas party.
Oh,
terrible guy though.
Yeah.
You're a terrible.
Halloween last year was great. We set up an awesome deal at the at Age. You've been there at the Train Museum. They set up a big haunted house there.
Train Museum.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah, in Green Bay. It's pretty creepy. They set up this whole big deal. What's it called?
Boring.
Yeah, called what, Pat?
A train museum sounds like the most miserable life of mine. I mean, I couldn't even fathom.
At the train museum, they take it over. They make it into a whole haunted house.
Oh, okay.
It's a Halloween thing, okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I want to go to a train museum.
Well,
train artifacts.
You know, when I started hearing train museum,
use that a little bit. You could get a little more culture there.
No, I get stopped by a train on my way home every single day. I'm about done
What if the wife wants to go to a train museum?
She doesn't. That's why I married her. But the thing about the train museum is that just kind of filled the narrative that I had about Green Bay Packers. No tour at all. You guys are going to train museums. I was starting to think like this team just is not. I don't even know how it even functions. But you're saying you took over the train museum, made it awesome. So that's completely wrong.
Tour at all stuff AJ was taking for so many years.
Oh, AJ, what were you taking, AJ? Excuse me, what were you taking over there, AJ?
Oh.
Wait, what did he say? It's all muted and everything. I didn't hear him. He mentioned Toradol?
Yeah.
Pat doesn't believe me that they don't give Toradol shots there.
They don't. Yeah, they don't give Toradol shots. But Age would drink this green legume drink that I'm sure was legal, but it made his body just. I mean, he had the worst gas you could. And sit next to him in those meetings. Oh.
All right, Aaron. Can I? I'm gonna go to Twitter for one question, and then a phone call for one question. Is that cool? And then we'll let you out of here on this beautiful Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
If you want.
Okay. Question is.
On today?
What's that?
that a chain you're wearing today? What's the significance of that?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I woke up this morning, I saw it on my bathroom thing, and I was like, I'm going to put it on. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest, but I have 0.09% Italian in me. I found that out from a 23andMe, and this kind of maybe is the 0.09%. You know what I mean?
How much Pittsburgh you got in you?
100%, pal. Hey, down there, a little rust belt. Let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to, you want to go to Arizona, Virginia, North Dakota, Ohio, or Cleveland?
North Dakota.
All right, North Dakota. Dan in North Dakota, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Aaron? Oh, my God. Thank you for picking my call. I am a huge fan. You're the one that got me into football. You're my absolute favorite player of all time. And I just want to ask what you think Brown or Equanimous St. Brown coming back from the IR does for the receiving corps.
Great question, Dan. You knew North Dakota was going to be pumped, by the way. I
like North Dakota was going to bring it, Dan. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, buddy. Talking about EQ. I'm not sure exactly if they're going to bring him off. I haven't seen transactionally. I know that you can start practicing after a certain time, but EQ a couple years ago when he was a rookie, played a nice role for us later in the season. He's a really good straight line speed guy, but he really improved his route running over his rookie year. Now last year, obviously, we lost the whole year due to his injury, but he's definitely struggled with some injuries in the last 18 months, which I know has been really frustrating for him. But he's a super talented guy. We're going to need to see some stuff in practice, I think, just to get him to knock the rust off. But talent level, he's extremely talented. He's got great hands. He catches the ball with his hands, which is nice. But great straight line speed, really good route runner. So it'll be nice to get him back if it's this week or in the future. But even maybe more exciting than EQ, even though that is exciting, is 17 coming back.
Let's go.
Devontae Adams, who wanted to play obviously a week before the bye week, but they sat him in lieu of hopefully health down the road, 100%. Now, I got to go back to your answer there where you said the guy catches the ball with his hands. Do you know that about your wide receivers? And does that change where you throw the ball to people if they're more of a body catcher or hands catcher or anything like that?
I mean, I think you try and tell them this stuff, but it does change the way you feel about certain routes that they run, for sure. Like certain, routes that they run, and the type of ball you can throw them. Yeah. Anybody that catches the ball with their hands, it just changes the whole catch rate. It changes the whole confidence you have in throwing them every single type of route. But body catchers, it's just a little more difficult on certain routes. You got to be a little more precise. A lot of times, what people don't realize either is a person that catches with their body changes the way that the football looks accuracy-wise. You throw a ball on a guy's front number that he catches with their hands, it looks like a perfect throw. If he's a body catcher, it might hit him on his back number and look like it was slightly behind him. People don't quite understand how that changes, the way you throw the football. But anybody that naturally catches the ball with their hands probably gets a few more looks.
Pro Football Focus doesn't know that either, do they? That's what Pro Football Focus doesn't know right there. They put a lot of misses on those body catches. It's not really on a quarterback.
Hold on, why are you dogging Pro Football Focus?
No. I'm giving excuses for Pro Football Focus because these are things that they don't know. They're not privy to information. Everybody expects them to be perfect all the time. They don't know this. What do you want from Pro Football Focus? This question's from Twitter. Guy's name's Michael Jackson. Not that Michael Jackson. Another Michael. This is a Caucasian. From birth, it seems, Caucasian Michael Jackson from Florida. At M. Jackson asks, what is your favorite place to get away and relax in the off season? I like this question because you almost got stranded in Peru or something like that right before this quarantine. You seem to be a world traveler. Where is a place that you enjoy going to the most?
I haven't repeated a whole lot of different places. I enjoy going down to Southern California, Pat. And as you thankfully let everybody know, Malibu.
No, I didn't let everybody know. $30 million house, Malibu, TMZ. I didn't say that. This is information that's just out there. I'd like everybody to be privy to the same conversation.
Yeah, allegedly. But I really enjoy that.
Did you just walk in with cash, by the way? Were you like, yeah, I'll take this house, and by the way, there you go. Get the hell out. I'm moving in today.
Pat, stop moving around because then they got to zoom out on your picture to get your whole body frame and see as you're wearing pants. Oh, you are wearing shorts.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Oh,
you know the
show
deal.
the quads off.
Yeah.
Nice. You're looking good, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Another wrestling bout coming up or what?
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I was very sore the day after, but last year I turned into a 6'1", 275 slob, and I can't have that happen this fall. You know what I mean?
Sidebar before I answer your question. Did you really wear number 40 at West Virginia?
Yeah, it was my GPA and my favorite drink. Sure it is. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
I didn't get to pick, obviously.
Ended on that right there.
No. I need to know where you go.
Oh, no, more?
Yeah. Need to know where you go.
Look, I'm going to say this. There's places that I would like to go, in the future. And one of them is Egypt.
Ooh. Okay.
Always been a lover of history. Egypt has some of the most fascinating history in the world. Obviously, China obviously has some super, super old history, but I believe, as does Graham Hancock, that actually Egypt might have some of the oldest kind of history that we can go and see based on his own personal view of the age of the Sphinx and the pyramids, and I'd love to see that in person. Constantly looking at kind of the status of that area. It's been hot, as they say, for a while. Not as safe as we would like, but that's definitely a place that I'm going to get to sooner rather than later.
Hey, so how do you think? I guess when were the pyramids and the Sphinx? When were they constructed? Also, what kind of technology did they use to put those together with the precision, like laser cuts? And we know they didn't have lasers back then.
It was aliens. Say it.
Yeah, it was definitely aliens.
Bingo. Yeah, there it is, by the way.
I know that's what you wanted me to say. You wanted to kind of put me on an answer or something, but I have no problem saying it. Pat agrees with me. I know Ty does as well.
What do they look like? Right. What do these aliens look like? Were they just out of this? Obviously, they are out of this world. How strong were they? What do they have?
And to follow up to that question from AJ, all the videos that we're getting from the Pentagon, these aliens are like this tall. How did they put the blocks on their back? How did this entire thing happen, Aaron? In your eyes, if you had to speculate,
I think there was a race of giant aliens, many who look like Dennis Rodman hybrids.
Good rebounder.
No, but. I don't know. All I know is that there's a lot of wonders around the world that don't have great explanations for them.
Yeah, still don't. Last question before we let you go. Earlier in the show, Ryan Clark told a story about you throwing a slant to Greg Jennings, I believe, whenever he was lined up at 3 in the Super Bowl. And he talks about, and I'm sure you've heard it because he said he talks about it on a regular occasion. He studied for 2 weeks, and it was a 100%er. Anytime that you guys were in this particular look, Greg Jennings was getting the rock. And in the Super Bowl, as soon as the ball was snapped, he just started sprinting directly to the place where the ball was going. And you threw it over his hands just by a little bit in front of Troy, I guess, and it was a touchdown. And he says that you looked at him and you said, hey, 2-5, instead of calling him by name, which he thought was pretty disrespectful. You said, hey, 2-5, which might be the thing that you do. I'm not sure. And then you went like this to him about how close he was. And it is still buried in his soul to this day. There is a lot of hate in his heart because of that. Is it true from your side of the story?
He's obviously recycling the same story over and over because I did see that he had said that and that he wanted to punch me in the face at some point. I think that's a little, harsh.
For sure.
I can't say I'm a pacifist, so I wouldn't welcome that. I wouldn't necessarily be searching that out, and maybe we can have a conversation before it gets to, some sort of violence. I just don't believe in the use of violence without, previous conversations.
Smart.
But I will say that they were playing cover 4. I don't think he sprinted at the snap. We ran, all go special, and he, kind of, slowly made his way over from the back safety, cluing on number 3, who was going vertical. Kind of snuck it in there. It was a really good coverage. I wasn't trying to be a dick about close, but I don't know. I thought it was like a little competitive banter. I didn't realize that, that stuck with him. It's a grudge from February 6, 2011. It's still. I would say to Ryan, hey, buddy, let it go.
We got to let you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday concludes on a Super Bowl story from 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck this week. MVP candidate, undefeated quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Appreciate you, Aaron. You're the man. All right,
Love you, Aaron.
We have to get to a break. Literally have to get to a break right now. We might not make it. What a day. What a day. He didn't have a game. I didn't know what we were going to talk about. I don't think I could have predicted any of the things we talked about. Pumped that we're here, though. We will react on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. McAfee and Hawk. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 13th, here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. We are moments before going out onto the field and kicking some field goals to raise a crap ton of money for the kids. And I'm about to become an old man. Said I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Oh, Cuzzy. Oh my God. You want a little bit of that grandpa. Hey, you see, you go, I'm just so excited we can raise some money because that's what we're here for. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. It is hard to see down. Cool, Grandpa. There's no way I lived this long in real life.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our contestant and cheer him on as he attempts to raise $70,000 for cancer research. On your mark, get set, go!
I've been a fan of the Colts since the Mayflower came from Baltimore.
I don't know, sir. You sound a little familiar.
This is the greatest city on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, it was my honor to raise $70,000 for cancer research. Sorry, I missed a couple. I'm an old man. Let's go. Let's
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pat McAfee and $70,000 towards cancer research. Go Colts!
And the ball's leaning back. Couldn't see. It's a lot more difficult seeing. Hi! Old man's got a hammer.
I just wanna do it right. I'm just trying to take what isn't given past the oversight. I'm just trying to make it killing.
I'm trying to party like I'm packed. Mile High Club, I got the
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show.
You ain't never seen a bro kick it
McAfee and Hawk here on this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. We just went down a deep dive of the internet of Aaron Rodgers Halloween costumes. He does sell out for that. I'm happy that question was asked by Utah. Halloween's coming around. Was that something? Some teams have Halloween parties, and sometimes it's at the quarterback's house. Sometimes it's at a place that's rented out by somebody else. Him saying he hosts events at his house tells me a lot about him. I thought he was a terrible teammate, and turns out that is just a complete lie that has been spread around for years and years here.
Yeah, of course, and he's not going to sit there and, broadcast to everybody when he does host events and host Thanksgiving and has guys and their families over. Like, he's not going to do that. But, yeah, I don't know how your Halloween parties were. It depended, like, year to year. Some years they were bigger than others, but they were usually at like some kind of big bar that they would rent out the back room or something like that. We had a couple at different people's houses.
Yeah, I used to have a good time for those.
Oh yeah, you ever host one or no?
Did you have them on Mondays or when? What day of the week?
Yeah, I think Monday, because we had Tuesdays off, so it'd be Monday night. Or every once in a while, as the teams got older that I was on there. It got real young at the end, but as it got older, it started being later in the week, and it was like kids were invited and everything. I stopped going. I don't want to fucking.
You guys have Halloween playing parties by chance?
What's that,
You
bud?
guys have any like Halloween costume playing parties on the way back from a game?
No,
Perhaps?
there was always like there was always a couple people that would dress up for traveling in a costume or whatever, but that wasn't always that was a thing. I just got so bummed out about those Halloween parties becoming kids parties. You heard me just do it. Actually,
Well, there should be a kid Halloween party and then an adult Halloween party. But when guys dress up for games, especially if it's on the road, like I would love to see a dude. They just go on the road, get waxed, just get annihilated, and then you got a D lineman dressed up as Pee Wee Herman walking out of the locker.
All right, let me put my clown costume back on. Let me walk out of here, dude. Let's go to Dylan in Cleveland. It's setting yourself up for massive failure if something bad happens. What's going on, Dylan?
Hey, yo, what's up, Pat?
Hey, yo, what's going on, dog?
What's up?
All right, I want to ask you, how did
Great
question to become an NFL punter?
Great question. Not sure what he said.
You kind of just did it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to Billy in Minnesota. Shout out to that guy in Cleveland, by the way. Thanks for the call. We appreciate that. What's going on, Billy?
Hey, Pat. Question for AJ. Just want to know if you want to make the correct decision and change your prediction from the Cowboys to the Packers. I don't think you knew what you were talking about.
For those that are maybe new to the show here on this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, before the season started, we did classic sports talk, classic sports show, predict your Super Bowl contenders in the NFC. AJ Hawk had Big Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys, even though the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers happened, even though the Green Bay Packers still had Aaron Rodgers, he picked the Dallas Cowboys, and now we're staring down a red rifle Dallas Cowboy team that doesn't seem to be able to be on the track to go to the Super Bowl, but in the NFC East, anything's possible. AJ, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and they're coming off a big win. But no, I'm not going to back off my Cowboys prediction.
Oh,
obviously, I could have easily picked the Packers, but I'm a fan of the Packers. I want them to win every game. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I think every year going in, if Aaron's still the quarterback, I think they absolutely should and can win the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to make that easy prediction with them.
Oh,
yeah.
Easy prediction. That was easy.
Off of it, though.
You're going to make it difficult. Yeah, you're making it hard on
I'm
yourself.
not going to back off my Cowboys. It's unbelievably
Cowboys. Your
unfortunate what happened to Dak, but they're in good hands with the Red Rocket.
Have you talked to the Red Rocket?
Yeah, a little bit.
How's he feel? Feels pretty good?
Feels good in Mike's system. I think he's back home. He already had a house in Dallas. It's all set up for him.
Small little yard.
Tiny
Yeah,
yard.
that tiny little yard. Maybe win some games down there with Cowboys, be able to get a bigger yard. Hopefully that'll
Is he ever going to come on the show?
Yeah, is he ever going to come on the show, or
Come on,
is that
man.
something that's not going to?
We should have him. Let's do it.
Well, we tried.
we tried.
We
Your
tried.
quarterback,
We tried.
so-
He's your quarterback for your team, your friend. You're texting, and the only time he was supposed to come on, like a minute and a half before he's supposed to come on, he said, "Can't do it. See you later. Take a hike."
Thanks, Age.
Yeah, I'm grocery shopping.
Thanks, Age.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Sorry, I got no pull.
Yeah, we'll talk to the general then.
Was that a sarcastic cigar in the mouth after he
It
said
did. It
that,
was
or-
like a tea, like a cup of.
Listen, it wasn't sarcastic. It was making a reference to guys that are always. I'm sure you've had this, Pat. You're somewhere and there's a long line. Like, come on, Pat. Why don't you go to the front line? Tell them you played in the NFL. Come on, let's get in. And if that's ever happened, if I'm anywhere, I'm like I think you know that is not my thing. I would absolutely. I have no connections. I don't know any door guys. I don't know anything. If there's a line, I'm waiting in it like everybody else.
How about whenever they used to give out those cards? They used to give out those like actual cards, and guys would be like, "Yo, I'm in the NFL. Let me get in here." And it's like, Oh, my God. I'm going somewhere else. I want nobody to know that I'm in the NFL in here, okay? I want them to think I'm some drunk frat kid that has my rich dad's credit card when I'm buying 100 shots for everybody. Nobody knowing me would be great news. And then you get arrested and your mugshot is broadcasted everywhere in the city that you live in more times than ever because it's a bye week. Anyways, that's my life in a nutshell. This has been another Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. AJ, anything to say here in the final 10 seconds of the show?
I think I'm good. Just leading into Mad Dog. Love you, Mad Dog.
Love you, Mad Dog. Chris Mad Dog Russo is next with Mad Dog Unleashed. Can't thank you enough for choosing to listen or watch wherever the hell you may be. This has been Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. We'll be back manana right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82. Thank you. I mean, that thing just got launched.
What was that?
I don't know. I hit something and it just went. It was like a little Velcro thing that I found on my desk in the middle of the conversation with Aaron. And since I have ADD, it's not a good thing for me to find.
All the time.
Yeah, I started playing with it. It's like a fidget spinner thing that I think we should bring back. By the way, I don't know why those things just disappeared. We should potentially sell those.
How can you remake them?
Just go ahead and just make the same exact thing.
It's just plastic.
Yeah. What, you didn't like them?
Well, I'm just thinking of a different type of spinner. Like, why can't, that spinner's cool, right? You hold it here, but why can't you get one that, like, goes in between your fingers?
Well, I think a pinky ring one maybe.
That would be, there you go.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
We'll figure that out later. AJ, did Aaron say anything in there that you found surprising or that you think people will find surprising?
Not real. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, we talked about a lot of different subjects. You're right. We bounced around a bit. I was genuinely curious about, like, how Jordan Love's doing. Like, you don't really hear anything about him now.
Well, and the thing about that is the story isn't juicy enough to talk about it anymore. If there was any picture maybe of Aaron even potentially giving him a nasty look or Jordan with his hat, like, down and not looking at Aaron, that conversation will come back. But it's not convenient right now to have said conversation because
dress.
Yeah,
well, you can't see it because the guy stinks. He's not even on the field.
I was gonna say, good time for him to maybe soak up the W and the victory and how it feels and in practice and stuff like that. Also, maybe throw a ball in the target in the net. But
no, one time, or just hit the net. You don't even have to hit the target.
Aaron wouldn't say that. He can't say that. Let's wrap things up here with the poll at Viva Lazito. Your poll was what, and what is the outcome and final determination of the internet on your poll?
If you were a GM and had to take a first or second year quarterback to build your franchise around forever, and if your team stinks, you die.
Well, that is a very important part of this because people aren't voting as if they could potentially lose their job. They're voting as if their lives were going to be taken from them if the team stinks. Dead.
Yes, dead. Danny Dimes, 1.3%. Air Bear at 32.8%. Joey Burrow at 37.3%. And Kyler Murray at 28.6%. Kind of shocking.
Justin Herbert, I think, I'm not going to – Joey Burrow, we don't know if he's going to survive in Cincinnati, but if I'm the GM and I'm building a team, I'm going to get a couple offensive linemen not to kill the guy. So I guess it's a little bit different situation. But watching Justin Herbert last night made me think, there's a superstar playing for the Chargers. There's a guy, 6'6", 240 pounds with a fucking hose that's going to be around for a long time. And it was very cool. It was like a cool feeling that I had. I was like happy for the NFL. Like, okay. There's a guy that's going to be for the next 10 years very, 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 very good. And remember, this team did not have the mindset that he was going to be the starter until, 5 minutes before they played the Chiefs when the lung was punctured. So now an entire offseason, knowing that you have a guy an entire season, I mean, it's a very different world for Justin Herbert going forward. And good for the Chargers, good for Tom Telesco, but who knows what the future is for Anthony Lynn over there, AJ?
Yeah, who knows? I think you should take a screen grab of this poll, and 4 years from now, 5 years from now, we'll reevaluate and see who's had the best career so far.
Yes. We'll do the old takes exposed, freezing cold takes little note thing. We'll take a screenshot right now of us.
Yeah.
There we go. Just took down the notes there with the double eraser sided pencil.
Who do you guys got?
I like Herbert a lot. Joey Burrow, I like Joey Burrow.
I voted on this, Zito, for you.
Who'd you vote?
Oh, Danny Dimes.
Joey Burrow. It was between Burrow and Herbert. I mean, actually, it's a three-way with me between Kyler as well, like three-way, not a tie, but I would put Joey Burrow just ahead of those other two.
Wow. And I think the thing about Joey Burrow is I just don't know if he lives. I honestly am worried about that guy's livelihood.
Yeah.
The shots that he takes on a very regular basis, and I know NFL quarterback, you're supposed to take shots, and people have said that Joe Burrow likes taking his shots because it wakes him up and makes him feel like he's a part of the game or whatever. those are happening at such a rapid rate. The shots that you go like, damn, can't have him taking a lot of those. And then I look back at the screen 3 minutes later, damn, can't have him taking a lot of those. And it just feels like it's like boom, boom, boom. It's almost like he's getting an AK-47 of big shots that quarterbacks aren't supposed to get. It's not a semi-automatic. That son bitch is full wide open. Dead. And it's like, how long can this guy last? I'm not 100% sure. But he's got it all right here, it feels like. And that's the most important thing. And Kyler Murray, I mean, if he plays like he did the first 2 weeks forever, awesome. But Herbert, I feel like, is the guy who seems to be unshakable, just unflappable. It feels like there's no moment too big. And when he took a big shot, the other guy ended up knocked out. I don't know. So it is a very tough poll, and that's why Zito puts him out there so that I don't have to officially vote for any of them, which is very nice to me.
Now you guys both have a rookie quarterback.
Before we get out of here, though, I want to let you know that sex is cool, but have you ever tried built-in underwear?
Oh tell you about it.
Very cool.
AJ, you ever try it?
I'm not sure the correlation here.
Well, it's clear.
Come on.
You gotta
It's
listen.
way better,
Very
dude.
clear.
Funny you say that. Everyone knows Bird Dog shorts, but now they make pants. They stole Lululemon's designer, and now they're just doing it better. Bird Dogs are pants, but they have the underwear built in. They look exactly like khakis or chinos, but feel like silky soft pajamas. They're my work pants, my golf pants, my happy hour pants, my lifting pants, my sleep pants, the comfort, the fit, the material, the stretch, all top of the line.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Go to birddogs.com right now and enter promo code McAfee, and they'll throw in a free pair of nunchucks.
What?
Yep.
What?
Nunchucks.
What?
You heard that right, nunchucks. You get an actual murder weapon alongside your most comfortable pair of shorts or pants that you've ever bought from your friends at Bird Dogs. When you go to birddogs.com, promo code McAfee, and boom, a free pair of nunchucks with your pair of Bird Dogs. You will not take these things off. We promise you. I agree. Love their shorts. Haven't had their pants yet. We're moving into pants season, I guess, so I'll get them then. But the Bird Dog shorts are something you can wear in the gym, you can wear them to sleep, you can wear them to work, and you can wear them to do just about anything, and they're more comfortable than any other pair of shorts you've ever worn, and they're a nice size, too. Get you a little thigh look if you need it. AJ, we can't thank you enough for spending time with us today, buddy.
Hey, good to be here, and I'm just wondering if I've heard a lot of more Manscaped promotions on different podcasts. I understand we're wrapping up. I'm just wondering if maybe in people's contracts down the line, they'll say, hey, if you get a 1 week suspension, you get 10 times of what your initial payment is. 2 week, 20 times. Like, is it going to become a thing? Because we know Manscaped has got a lot more pub because Ian Rappaport got suspended.
You think Manscaped is potentially working in there? We'll pay your salary for the 2 weeks that you're going to get suspended for marketing our Lawnmower 3.0, our Weed Whacker, and our Perfect Package Kit that is currently available right now when you go to manscaped.com and enter promo code PATM. You can get 20% off the Perfect Package right now. I do believe those types of deals are something you can work in the future, but there's only a certain amount of people you can do that with. The Rappaport, the Shefty, the others of that nature. What's up, Diggs?
I feel like we should get a prediction from AJ on tonight's game.
Oh, yeah. Bingo. Need Bills, Titans. Titans plus 3.5 at home, 9,000 fans coming off a COVID outbreak in their facility. How do you see Tuesday night football, NFL football happening, AJ Hawk?
So I like that they are going to have 9,000 fans. I think it makes it much better on TV. They'll find a way to get loud, but I can't doubt the Buffalo Bills anymore. I don't think I doubted them. Maybe I did the first couple weeks, but I just feel like this is what they are. They've established who they are. That doesn't mean they're going to go undefeated, but I think they win tonight for sure.
AJ, you know Mike Greenberg?
Yes, I am aware.
Big fan.
Huge
Mike,
fan. I watch his show. His show gets off the air right before I come on here.
Oh, hashtag Greeny. His
Greeny.
ESPN radio. Okay.
The radio. I mean, I've never heard on the radio, but I see it on TV.
Okay, so Get Up is another show he has. You know that show? It's on in the morning?
I have seen that, yes.
Okay, so this morning that show had Richard Maziano, Greg McElroy, Mike Greenberg.
Yep.
Also who?
Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday.
Just block.
Ding Spears.
Hey, why don't you just block, Jeff?
It's obviously from the NFL Films footage of Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday fighting on the sideline. Jeff Saturday wanted to run a run play in the red zone, and Peyton Manning told him, you just block whatever the fuck I call. Magical moment. They all picked the Buffalo Bills. Everybody on Get Up this morning picked the Buffalo Bills. You picked the Buffalo Bills. We all like the Buffalo Bills. It just feels like that is a guaranteed disaster, but we'll talk about it in about 25 minutes on Hammer Down right here at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. At Tone Diggs, Michael Lombardi, Bubba Gumpino, and myself will be breaking down tonight's game, and I will be taking a victory lap in our betting that we had last night. Hammer Down, our gambling podcast, begins in 25 minutes right here. Go take a shit, drink something, eat something. We can't thank you enough for spending your morning and afternoon with us. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. Cheers. I like the Chargers tonight, +7 and the over. Let's go with 2 bets. That's what I do. I'm in the lead. Got to take your shots for a reason. That's what I'm going with. Final answer.
Chargers 9-3-2 against the spread. Their last 14 as a dog.
Okay, good. I didn't know if there was more coming there.
Oh, I could go all night.
Let's hear it. What do you got? Anything else for the Chargers? Because the way these Italians laid out the case against the Chargers was a bit problematic.
Chargers 3-0-1 against the spread. Their last 4 road games. 3-1-1 against the spread. Their last 5. 33-15-4 against the spread. Their last 52 as a road dog.
Bombs over Lombardi's house. I don't know if you heard him over there, Paisan.
What's the Diggs man got?
Michael, while I agree with you 1,000% that I also sometimes will contradict myself on what my research says just because the money's one certain way. And that's the case tonight. Like, I like the Saints on paper, but I'm going with the Chargers and the money.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers +7 tonight.
Let's go. Hey, by the way, can you show those records again? Can you show those records again?
Tony's hot.
Me and Diggs, top of the mountain.
This is also.
We're on the same side. This is a lock, Diggs. Me and you, this is a mortal lock, basically, this thing. This is a guarantee.